Hello and welcome to Jarviskjir Rock of the North. We are here live. I rarely do I actually get the chance to pause for a banana break, but there we are. There's the banana.
I just realized it's the Donkey Kong banana too.
Oh yeah. I don't skimp on the banana here.
Only the best of banana ships.
If anything, I haven't gone as banana as chat wants me to go. We've had an idea for, I think, a raid notification, but I have to go and record it again. Which means I'm never gonna do it. We're here, we're back. Whole crew's here. So we can recap what Zach missed last time. Which was we were going back through. Turns out there was actually quite a lot going on. You spent most of the session in Lendr, the Northman town built around a kind of forging community, which you kind of got a bit more engaged in. You traded in a horse. You went and asked about getting more appropriately sized weapons for Peep and Snow. And you did manage to get a weapon for Peep. It's a great sword designed for a halfling by the Northman, but it's much more to Peep's size and is badass, apparently. Just a great sword. Boy, what a great sword. And while you were there, one of the members of Clan Lendr who kind of run the town, seemingly, Griff, basically pressured you into taking a quest for them, which would require going to Oafenfur, to the north of it, and getting a package of food from a halfling community called Winterbuck, because Lendr is probably not gonna do well in the winter without it. You then went to get more information about the orb, which Smartmantle, the owner of the bookshop, wasn't there and didn't seem to have much, but recommended someone you could go to, a gnome cleric named Inkwell, who basically just told you a whole bunch of things because it seemed like her deal was just collecting people's stories and histories. So she was just kind of regurgitating a lot of lore at you, but not knowing absolutely everything. While that was happening, she told you that, of course, the orb was a goblin burial orb. And that was when goblins attacked the town. In which case, while the goblins attacked, Snowcorn went straight up berserk, showing no mercy, fighting with a ferocity hitherto yet unseen. The whole party kind of having to patch together, including Grimwald, who was they were attacking the same place where Grimwald was hanging out, I guess. After that, Sabriel gave Grimwald enough clothing that Grimwald can just about pass as a covered up human, and you were kind of working out what exactly you guys wanted to do next from this point. I think you were kind of hanging out in the same sort of area where the goblins attacked. I know you'd kind of left and come back. And I think you kind of have the top choice of kind of going north to Oafenfur and taking that quest, or what you were much more interested in, returning the orb to this goblin colony, this cave goblin colony that is a couple of days to the south. So those were kind of your options and your plans, but it was one of those things where it's like, hey, let's take a week and see what you guys want to do then. So what?
I imagine that, like, Sir Vincent would probably, I don't know, show up after the combat is done, and then we would be like, oh, here's what happened. He was busy doing...
what did I miss?
Sorry.
These old bones need extra rest from time to time. My apologies.
Yes, old. It'll let 15 minutes down.
We fought a lot of goblins. And some wargs. Those are the things I saw a while back, ages back.
Goblins and orcs?
Wargs.
Wargs.
Yeah, I point to the
The
big
bodies.
pile of
yeah.
dead. Yes.
They'd be here.
Still there.
The other so there are actual Northman guard here, a group of shield maidens and a couple of other soldiers, who are actually piling up the. There were 2 wargs, 2 hobgoblins, and 2 regular goblins. Look at that. Very, very even. And they're kind of piling them up and starting to form like a kind of sort of funeral circle around them before burning the bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have woken me up for goblins and wargs.
I don't think we had time, Vincent.
They were lighting.
Very well.
They were lighting parts of the town on fire with fire arrows.
The problem is, they want this, and he holds the orb up again. This is what they want. They need it back, so we don't have to deal with this again. But we also need to go get that food. Do we have time to? Can we do both?
You can do both.
mean-
It's just they're in 2 different directions. One is north and one
No,
is
I
south.
know. Ori was just making sure that this wasn't the part in the video game where the paths branched and like we sealed off one quest by doing the other one.
I mean,
Oh.
like if we go do the food, I definitely think if we go to the I can't speak. If we do the food one, the goblins might attack again, like you said, and it's like I doubt they're gonna be able to burn down the whole city, but you know they might do some damage.
I
Yeah,
agree.
they
No
cut
point,
Made an angry man.
no point in feeding a city that's no longer here because it's been razed and burnt to the grounds by goblins.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Is one of the shield maidens nearby?
Yeah.
yeah. There's the shield lady. She could protect them.
No. He's gonna pull her over. He's gonna look at her for a minute because she reminds him of someone, but he's gonna pull her over. And is there someone that has dealt with the goblins face to face before?
Those goblins never come by this town. Never
I
ever.
see.
They're not the kind that trade or even hunt bounties. They just kind of keep to themselves. That's why they've been
So-
avoided by us as well.
So leaving this with someone here to give to them the next time they show would be not conducive to business. Understood. He's like, okay, that wipes that plan out. He's like, okay, I'm done with you for now.
So we'll head south and take care of the goblin situation, and then head back north and take care of the food situation.
Mm.
What? Never mind. So yeah, I don't know. Like, Vincent didn't see Snow go all rage mode, but he could probably tell that there's even like a little bit after there's still like adrenaline there. You know, Snow has calmed down, but there's something like burning in his eyes whenever there's talk of goblins.
Are you feeling okay?
No.
If you feel sick, I can assist with that.
I am fine, but if we mean to go negotiate with goblins, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
There's no negotiation happening. We're giving them back what is theirs so that they don't continue to assault this town. I was trying to do that when you just
Lopped their
motioned
heads
them
off.
to the bodies.
Oh.
While I understand that there's probably some sort of anger there, Snow, I truly understand, believe me. He's like thinks back about humans he just massacred at one point.
Oh no.
I think for the best interest of these people that we're supposed to be helping, it is probably a good idea to take it back. And not kill them unless they come after us.
Unless we want to spend the rest of our days protecting the town from goblins. It's easier to work out a peace.
I have better things to do than being town guard for goblins.
Snow would Snow would like think on it and then just kind of like nod slowly, and he'd be like, he would just say, "Very well, I will let you speak to them, and if that fails,
well, then you can have your way with them."
That's me laughing now. Snow is very serious right now.
It's such a madman laugh, dude.
Yeah.
Just like...
Yeah, it's because me like poetry loves chaos. But Snow is just very serious right now. Poetry loves chaos.
I'm thinking what
Snow
Phoenix
does
thinking.
not.
I just came back, and the first thing I hear is, "You can have your way with them." It's like,
You know,
Welcome to the
sometimes you
Bone
gotta convince people to fight with gold. Sometimes there are other things.
Yeah.
But no, several's like, I understand that there's probably some sort of personal anger there towards this particular group of beings. I get it. Deus Vult intensified.
Sabriel activates dad advice mode.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The funny
He
thing is
misses somebody.
isn't Sabriel's like crusade against giants?
Which crusade is the question?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of awkward situation. No, but yeah, all right, yeah. Snow would definitely he would nod, and he's basically like you get the idea that he's not gonna act out unless it comes to a fight, at which point he's just gonna let loose.
So the best way to describe barbarian rage. I'm just gonna let loose.
Several's
hair down a
just
little.
sitting there going, internally he's doing this. He's like, this is only going to go south.
That's right. You do need to go south to the goblin colony.
Where is not Zelius?
Dude, yeah. Snow did want to try to buy, like, see if he could find an herbalist who has potions.
You got a recommendation of where to find one last week. I don't know
Yeah,
if
we
you
did.
remember. There's someone
Yeah,
who...
their name was Essam, an
Essam.
herbalist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were on like the edge of town.
They're on the north
outside-
side of
outside.
town, though.
Oh, okay.
So you'd have to take a bit of a detour if you're planning on heading south.
Yeah.
Worth it to be prepared.
Yeah. What? Like, so
Probably
would-
should.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's good. Yeah, did an out of game question. Or,
I was gonna say probably should stock up on rations as well.
Savril needs spell slots. They're all gone.
yeah.
Don't
I
worry,
guess,
I still have all of mine.
I guess we could take a day to prepare. Well, like how many days travel is it to the goblin area?
Based on what you were told, bearing in mind that it is very winter, so the days are actually quite short. Like the amount of time you can travel without traveling by torchlight, and I don't know if you want to travel by torchlight. This is probably a 2-day journey. This also, you won't really get the kind of like passive bonus from snow guiding as much, because this would be quite a bit out of your natural territory.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we could like take a day to prepare and then take this journey, but that's taking more time, so I don't know.
Sabril, here's a question. Can Sabril just sit somewhere for a while they're all doing their things in town getting prepared?
If you can take an 8-hour long rest now while they're doing the rest of their stuff, I mean, that is actually kind of viable. It probably would take around 8 hours to do all the other stuff you want to do around town. So yeah, you could sit here and meditate and then basically be a day ahead on sleep. Kind of. It's up to you.
He doesn't have anything else he needs. He needs a bath, so I guess he'll go back to Peep's house and bathe, because he hasn't bathed in days. He feels dirty.
What time of day was it? Because we did stuff in the morning, so it must be like, is it around
not too
noon?
late?
Or...
Yeah, it's probably around 1:30 p.m. You know, it's
Okay.
not late. So you could do that. You could putter around the town Sabriel could take a long rest. Even though elves don't sleep, you still need a long rest if you want to recover your spell slots. But at the same time, that long rest can be a lot more just kind of chilling. And then everyone else can kind of go and get potions, get supplies, get anything else done in town you want to get done before leaving. Is that the plan?
I think Snow would like to, basically stay overnight in town. So we could just all rest overnight and then, use this day. Yeah, use this day to get our business done.
You do that as well?
Snow is also still a little beat up. And it's not a big deal, but, and he used one of his rages, so.
Yeah? Okay, so plan is to take the rest of the day and then sleep, and then probably head off as early as possible.
Yeah, leave real early
before the crack of dawn, even probably. Yeah, because you could travel by torchlight out of town. That's fine.
Yeah.
So
we just don't want to do that once we're in Goblin territory.
Goblin country.
But yeah, so Snow is going to be looking for potions, but I don't know what the others are doing.
Is there a fur trader somewhere?
Oh, plenty. Yeah. This is fur trader country.
Sabriel will want to go find a fur trader then if we're all just going to take a long rest.
Sure.
And then he's going to bathe.
So, town stuff. People want to go with Snow to find that potion seller.
Potion seller.
Potion seller. Can't resist.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
My brain is picturing the shop from the beginning of Ocarina of Time in the village where the guy has the potions on the wall and the bombs.
Is there is there an area of town that's kind of downtrodden, that kind of thing? People that are kind of less fortunate, that kind of stuff?
Not as much as there would have been around 3 years ago. There are still folk who are traveling and staying in Lendr who don't have a clan hall or friends to stay with. So there are kind of the occasional, I guess, vagrants who need a little more aid.
So in that case, I'll go and just buy a bunch of meals from whatever the local tavern is, and just start walking around handing them out some just warm whatever soup or whatever I can get. For
like a stew.
Yeah. And I'm willing to drop a good chunk of change on it, so to feed as many as I can.
You just tell me how much you want to pay, and we'll just sort of have that, be split appropriately.
100 gold pieces.
100 gold pieces will feed a lot of people for a while. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll do that.
Sure.
God damn.
The rest of the party kind of goes off in your own directions. We've got Peep going with Snow to the north side of town, near the woods. Now, this is, of course, more Snow's natural territory. And you've already been this way. You've walked this way into town. So you're just doing it the other way around now. On the north side of the hill and is on, it kind of slopes a little more gently, because this is just higher terrain in general. You get closer to the frozen waterway between Lendr and Oathensfur, and you can even see signs too when you were told about it. There is a little jetty for people who did water trade that way, and you can see it in the distance. It's a little ways away. There's like a path and whatnot. And then north, the town just kind of dissipates into logging huts and herbalists. The Northmen are very responsible foresters, so this isn't like completely desolated tree land or anything, but it is a little more tame than the rest of the forest, which, is something to Snow. You'd have to go a little bit ways into the forest, which of course is a lot of work for a little old Peep. The trees here have really large roots that are quite gnarled and out of control. There's a lot of climbing if you're 2 foot tall involved.
If Peep is having noticeable issues, Snow would like reach down his arm and let him scamper onto his shoulder if he wants to. Like he's not gonna, you know.
Just as you turn, there's like a you just eat shit tripping over a root.
Yeah, Snow would like let him scamper up onto his shoulder if he wants to.
Thank you.
You can eventually find this person, ASKII. Mostly Snow. You know these kind of people. Even though this is a human, this kind of area where it's just people who live in the woods.
Yeah.
Is these are your people, but they're not literally your people. But it is also the same forest.
Yeah.
You find ASKII, who is in a bit of a clearing, looking around, probably for mushrooms that haven't died off during the first few snows. A lot of Northmen are very, very pale. ASKII is very, very dark-skinned, with black curly hair. He's got the garb you'd expect of a herbalist, a lot of pockets, full-blown ton of pockets, but also a couple of weapons just in case, like a pretty hefty axe, and most importantly, he has a pet pig. The pig is very fluffy, to the point that the fluff becomes grass on its back. Some kind of magical pig. It also has very floppy ears, almost like some types of dog. And it is the pig that notices you guys first and would kind of snuffle and bound up and then kind of like step back because Snow is a lot bigger than it maybe thought as there was some rustling in the bushes.
Can I do a pig impression?
Yes! the pig, in mutual understanding, snorts back and then kind of trots back to ASKII, who at this point has turned around and kind of gives the pig some scritches, and he will kind of look up. He's kneeling, but will look up and like, well, good day.
Hello, you must be ASKII.
If you were told to find me, that means you're probably looking for healing.
Yes, we looking for any manner of provisions that may help us in a journey into woods and hills that aren't so friendly as these.
I can aid you in that. If you wouldn't mind coming with me, I don't exactly carry everything on my person. He will take the one mushroom he found, it's like a big flat cap, and he'll kind of put it against the pig's back, and it will kind of join. And then he will get up and kind of brush himself off and lead you to his hut, and then he'll kind of explain on the way that he does have healing potions, both regular and greater. When you get to his hut, there is like a covered area with old kegs, and they smell of healing herbs. There's a very particular kind of almost apple-y scent, and you can see that there's one set that has been labeled for like greater refinery and fermentation, and then there's some other ones, and he would kind of offer one to you in a small leather pouch. I have potions that can heal wounds, as is the common price for people traveling through here. It's around 50 gold. Greater potions, they take longer time, they need more equipment. They go for 200. I do have some other things that might aid you. He'll kind of open up a pouch and show you a bark. It's got a little bit of a silvery tint to it. Silic bark can awaken even the most slumbering beast. It'll snap just about anyone out of unconsciousness and can be quite useful. I'm selling this lot for 10 gold. Oh, each sliver for 10 gold.
Ah.
I really want. This is not in character.
You
'cause
want
I
the
don't
pig?
think- Oh, no.
We all
I
want
don't-
the pig.
I mean that too, but there's one potion that I really want to see, but I don't think Snow would even have any conception of this potion. I really want there to be a potion of growth so that Pete can become like like human sized for a fight, and then
That would be good.
kind
I
of
feel like
unsettling.
we had that happen in the last Monday game with a gnome. The final fight, they became mightily 5 foot tall.
But no, yeah, Snow would not have any knowledge of that. So.
Yeah, and it seems he only really has the way with most herbalists until you get to like people specifically working for adventurers, it's like you have healing potions, sometimes you have stronger ones, and then you have here's the remedy for fixing your bad back. Here's a remedy for warts. It's all that kind of thing. He seems a little more focused on like straight up actual magical healing. And he does seem the type that if you were kind of looking for something specific, he might be able to try and brew it for you. Or maybe if you give him something, you know the sort, Snowy. Like, I found this monster eye. Here you go. But right now it's yeah. Well, that's a potion of its own. He has regular healing for 50, greater healing for 200, and Silic Bark for 10. And Silic Bark, basically, you feed it to someone who's unconscious, and it ups them with 1. It's essentially an instant pass medical check on an unconscious person, which is sometimes handy.
Knowing that they were going to the herbalist, could I have given them some money to help out with whatever they need to buy?
Yeah.
So I'll give whoever's leading this charge 300 gold to purchase whatever is needed.
Your coin purse is particularly heavy now, Snow.
I mean, well, I don't know. Does Pete buy anything first?
You get given the
Peep's
prices,
like,
and Snow looks down to Peep first. That's just funny to me. Very sweet.
I mean, is that everything you have?
Everything that's
Do you have
ready for
anything?
human consumption. What are you looking for?
Well,
As neither of us are human.
My potions are not fit for a beast, let alone a man.
You couldn't handle my strongest version.
Potions.
No.
I was just maybe wondering if there was anything that could maybe make me stronger.
Strength is hunted down by all hunters. Nothing I could brew that would make you stronger permanently. Maybe something that could make you stronger in a pinch. If you can bring me the blood of any strong beast you find, or even some of their flesh, I can probably brew something out of it. But most of the folks I often sell to are already very confident in their own strength and aren't looking to improve it.
Okay.
You're
If I
more
find anything, I'll
sensible,
bring it to
clearly. Yeah.
You know what? Snow would actually, thinking about this, he would reach into one of his pouches and pull out a giant tooth that he took from that giant wolf. I forgot about that. And he took it as like a memento of that fight. But he would be like, would this work? It was from a large wolf, full of strength.
He'll see if he can take it, and when he does, he looks and is like, There's enough vitae still in this. Yes. If you don't mind giving me the day, I could brew you a potion of strength from this.
The
Alright,
wolf was cursed.
Are you sure, Snow? I mean, that was your tooth, so...
The tooth, I took it as to honor the memory of that wolf. But what better way to use a part of its body than to give us strength when we need it most?
Huh.
It will honor its We will honor its memory in battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll in which case he'll take it and he'll start drilling some holes into the big kind of almost fleshier part at the end of the tooth and then start dissolving it basically.
Or he does bring up a good point.
Or he's been mentioning that this is from a cursed wolf.
No, let it happen. Let it happen.
Yeah.
Neither of these two would have thought about it.
Look, it's
Snow
gonna
is like
become
a-
an ability. It's
Snow is-
melt sand. There. Find someone.
Okay, yeah. So we'll leave that with him, I guess, and then
We're all gonna die anyway.
I guess like maybe the next morning before we leave, Snow will get up a little early and like take a morning jog to come pick it up if it's gonna be ready by the next morning.
Yeah, it would be. Before you go and get that, Vincent, you going up to the tavern with 100 gold and saying, I want to feed as many people as possible. That's a lot more than the little local tavern down at the that you've kind of spent the occasional time in while you've been in town can really handle, which means it starts this frenzy of, well, we better get in, getting grandma, everyone's getting around the pot, everyone's gonna start cooking, everyone's gonna start working. Which is great.
I'm
really.
more than just spending. I'm throwing hands and helping as well, serving, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, you essentially open like a little soup kitchen out of the tavern for the day, being like, everyone come and get what you can. And while you're here, you do hear people kind of lament as like, well, these are the last of the onions and things like that. But by putting it all together like this, I mean, one of the things that, of course, you would know is that this is setting up, the stew for weeks almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can then run and use that money and they can go to someone else and go and grab stuff. And some people even, you even see someone goes and gives some of the coin to one of the kids who's helping. It's like, go to the House of Smoke Glass, get us some of their meat. It seems that the House of Smoke Glass, which I don't know if you didn't see, the others saw, which was a tavern at the top of the hill, much more deluxe establishment, might be holding out. But definitely they can get a lot more from various stalls around the town, which wouldn't usually be so public, which is great. And it's the tavern just becomes busy, the street outside busy of the folk who are just passing through and can finally get like a really nice proper hot meal, people who have kind of been living a little bit on the street, stuff like that. It's great. It's good energy, it's heartwarming. And it feels right to do. I think that's everyone's evening jobs. I don't think Sabriel really wanted to do anything tonight, did they?
Sabra wants to go buy something.
What do you want to buy?
I want to go find a fur trader.
Oh, yes! That's easy. What are you really looking to sell from a fur trader?
He has a feeling we're gonna get stuck out in some snow.
Oh, you want to buy the winter clothes?
He wants to get, well, maybe he detests the idea of buying these clothes, but he wants to go buy some furs for them to use for Peep and for just general party use for when it gets cold.
So basically just blankets, but like raw furs or treated furs to use as blankets.
Yeah, maybe clothes if he sees something like a cloak for himself, probably.
There would be, I mean, you go to the fur trader, there would be both furs not turned into things and the occasional fur turned into thing. So there would be very basic fur cloaks here, not to the extent of like fairly nice coats or anything like that, or fur padded armor, but there would be like a very basic but nice heavy fur cloak. It's the sort of thing that not a lot of the locals wear, but it would help you out with cold weather. Basically, if you buy one of these, you'll have advantage on cold weather checks. Whoever's wearing it. I usually price those clothings at around 50 gold, and then the blankets would just be 5 silver each. So you can grab 4 or 5 and just have them.
I mean, his cloak he's got now is probably cold weather-ish, but he wants something better. So yeah, he'll buy himself the fur cloak, and then he'll buy 5 or so of the fur blankets.
Yeah, so 52 gold and a half.
That's nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing. Sabriel doesn't care.
I forgot to say how many potions we were gonna get.
Yeah.
But...
what were you interested in buying?
Yeah. I guess, let's see. I think that, so with the 300 gold that Vincent gave him, he would get 6 normal potions.
Sure.
And then he would spend another 100 of his own to get 2 more, so 8 total. That way we have 2 for every member of the party, because it sounds like that's
good idea. That basically takes all of Essam's supply, but he's happy to trade it, if you see you need it. And they're all in these little stoppered leather canteens, basically. You could use as water skins after.
And then I guess, I don't know, I might buy some of his the little bark things. I might buy you said there are 10 each?
Yeah.
I might buy 2 of those as well. Just,
Great.
Alright. So that would be our potions, I suppose.
And come morning you can go and pick up that potion of strength.
How much did that cost?
That he's just doing that one for free. There'll probably be potion making cost in the future if you go and give monster parts to him, but the first one's always free. We'll swoosh to the next morning so that you can do that on that, and you can maybe have some morning conversation before you set out. He will you see him pour this potion, and it is somehow a very dry orange, almost like a lager. As he pours it into the flask, and it does have a kind of hot sand smell, which is a bit unexpected.
Okay.
And he'll cork it and he'll hand it to you, and he's drawn a little symbol on it, so it's clearly different. It would actually be a giant symbol, because a lot of giant language is symbolic, so it would be a giant symbol for strength.
I guess when we meet that morning, in the morning, we'll so I don't know. So it sounded like Vincent wanted to split up the potions, so we would have 2 each then, right? Yeah. So
and I imagine you give Peep the strength potion.
He would give him the strength potion and basically be he would tell him this symbol means strength. Save this till it looks like we need it.
Yeah. Pete does take the cork off and
Better be careful with that. That might put some hair on your scales.
Oh my
doesn't
God.
sound nice. Right. What kind? Okay, the only potions of strength I can find the thing are.
Oh no, it's
potions
none of
giant
those.
strength.
It's none of
Okay,
it's
I was
its
gonna
own.
say, that seems a bit.
You brewed it out of a cursed wolf tooth. You don't know what it's gonna do.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
That's my favorite sentence I've heard all week this week. You brewed it out of a cursed wolf tooth. You don't know what it's gonna do.
Don't tell Sabriel you've done this. I'm just saying that right
point.
now. Do not tell Sabriel.
Addendum to that. Don't tell Sabriel that we've done this until right after Pete takes it. Then tell Sabriel and watch Sabriel completely freak out.
Sabriel's not gonna freak out. He's just gonna fucking walk away. He's all right. Well,
You're just gonna see thingy. It's wait, you did what? And then just Pete's going just sand pouring everywhere.
Sabriel's just gonna fucking leave. He's just gonna, all right, well, you know what? This has been enough of a distraction. I have shit to do. Bye.
Grimwald is like, yes, of course, if we want to go and stop those terrible, horrible, disgusting goblins from their crimes, then we should leave post-haste. Not dally.
I'm going to. Several just looks at him.
He
Wait a
waves.
minute. he goes to Vincent and he gives him half of the furs to put on his horse in case we get separated. So one of those is for everyone. So Peep, you, that one, he points at the skeleton, even though he thinks he doesn't need it, and then poetry. Or not poetry, Snow. He's got his cloak on that he just bought.
I'll take them, fold them up neatly, and tuck them over the back of
He puts the rest of them on the back of a new horse that you've not seen.
Yes,
yet.
Sabril has a different horse as you're going to leave this morning.
That's true.
Did your horse get killed in the goblin attack? And you, what happened?
No, he changed colors.
Who are you?
Oh, that's really good.
He's
You have
just
color changing
straight-faced.
horses and Pegasi now?
Yes.
Pegasus?
No, I traded in Mr. Stark because he was old and injured and decrepit, and I needed a horse that could handle the snow. So I traded in another horse. This is not Zelius. I named him as such because he is not Zelius.
Okay, so if he's not Zelius, then who is he?
He is not Zelius. I don't know his name.
I get that, but then if he's not Zelius, then who is he?
That's his name.
What's his name?
Not Zelius.
You named your horse not another horse's name?
Yes.
It's a Pegasus, not another horse.
Vincent climbs on Pearl and starts riding out of town. Not another word.
He just leaves Peep. He doesn't even put Peep on the horse. Gabrielle will pick Peep up.
Yeet, Peep. Onto the other horse.
Fucking throw Peep across the town. No, he just picks Peep up and sets him in front of him on the horse so the claws don't dig into his clothes.
I thought of something, but it is not something that Snow would have ever thought of, so I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to metagame.
Correct.
Also, Sabriel bathed. Finally, his hair looks all nice and clean.
I mean, Sabriel looked clean before because he's an elf. Now Sabriel looks extra clean.
He's grumbling about the lack of proper hair care products.
Oh, my hair is disgusting, and it's like a L'Oreal product, a commercial like it. You can start heading out to following the directions. Sabriel got the directions. They were vague, but enough to travel by. Where you're going, you don't need roads. It's around 2 days travel. You'll be going across small rocky hills and then an area where you travel between some ice-blown hoodoos. So it should be pretty clear if you're on the right track. And then the cave goblin settlement is kind of beyond a little bit of icy travel. And not to the extent of going to Bastillion's ice sheet. You're not traveling that way. All of y'all who have traveled near this, so I get honestly probably just Vincent, because Sabriel just wouldn't have gone this way. Because Vincent, you went like up and around basically. You would have been told not to travel across the ices near Bastillion. You'd be like, how near is near? And it's like anywhere near. All of it bad. I don't think you would have been told more than that, and I think you're sensible enough to be like, fine, I will take that advice. And so not traveling that close, but an area maybe not entirely dissimilar. And then the cave goblin settlement will be apparently it's in a bit of a hill itself. Should be easy enough to notice. It's not exactly hidden because it's also got hobgoblins and things living there as well. So you can start your travel out and into the snows. The first bit of the travel you do by torchlight, for it's dark. It's winter. It's the Ivory Month. Oh, something I mentioned last week, but you weren't here, Vincent, is it's nearing up on New Year's Day, and in your religion, New Year's Day is celebrated, almost like a Christmas. It is 8 days away from New Year's as you leave this morning, so if you don't get stuck up, it'll be when you're back in town, roughly.
Awesome.
That's just sort of, it's the kind of time of year, so traveling in the morning is particularly rough. It's cold and biting, especially in those with older joints. Even on a horse, it's a pain. But the weather is not frightful. No, I'm not doing that. It crossed my mind. It lingered. But we're not going there. But we are getting to the types of temperatures where Fahrenheit and Celsius meet in the middle, according to this weather temperature thing, which means it's getting really cold.
Yeah.
But what kind of pace do you want to travel at? Bearing in mind this is areas you haven't traveled with before, and you don't have snow's experience. But the ground, the terrain is not nearly as harsh. There are, I believe, 4 overland travel speeds for D&D. There's regular, there's half speed stealth, where you're not necessarily going stealthy, but you can be more careful. There's fast, where you have a penalty to all your perception checks while you're traveling, so if something's following you, or you're trying to look for something, it'll be much harder. And then there's I want to get off Mr. Horse's Wild Ride, where you just galloping the whole time, no rest, where both you and the horses will take exhaustion, which never comes up, is never really relevant unless there's like plot relevancy.
I feel like we should do normal pace.
Yeah, I think, and Sabro would voice his reasoning for that as being maybe we'll come across more goblin patrols on the road and we can just meet them halfway and give them the orb looks at Snow, don't kill them.
I concur.
I can't promise anything. No, that's not a good response. No, he would.
Or at least don't instigate a fight initially.
Yeah. He's not going to instigate a fight, yeah.
He won't say don't kill them, because he can't promise that himself. So he's just...
Great.
Normal pace.
Normal pace. I gotta, first campaign, and whenever there's, travel like this, I gotta go through the speed ratings. Just so everyone knows.
Gotta go fast.
No one ever goes fast. I should just be in a D&D game just so I can go fast. I can just be the one who goes fast all the time. And I'm exhausted all the time, and it's roleplay. It's method acting. This first day of travel is relatively safe, relatively boring, and you are not attacked by things. There's not much wind, there's just the cold. The cold is harsh, but not so harsh that any of y'all are, you can take the precautions necessary, that you can keep on moving. The terrain you're going through right now is just the same kind of rocky, snow-covered hill lands that you were kind of traveling across to get to Slate Cove before. Because there's no current snows, all the snow that is around is hard packed, and there are the occasional trees or bushes that are kind of almost the snow's frozen on from just a level of cold, and it's going to be like this pretty much for all winter, other than more snows. You do occasionally see, muskox kind of in the distance and things like that. It's not like you're traveling through dead lands. I mean, there's a reason why the Northmen live in this kind of area. But it's relatively uninteresting. What do you want to do about camping? There's not really much in the way of terrain to make a safe hidden camp, unless you want to push further into the night. If you push further into the night by a couple of hours, you might make it into the kind of hoodoos and hills you were told about before. Or you could just kind of set a camp out in the open.
I mean, I'm fine to continue writing. It's up to you guys.
I can always nap on the horse until we get there.
We can try to ride for a few more hours, I think. But I'm content to keep watch if we need to. But riding a few more hours sounds acceptable to find a safer place.
Yeah, we could go a little longer.
But considering that, some of you have dark vision. Snow, do you have dark vision? I never remember.
I don't. Here, let me check. I don't believe.
I don't think so. So only 2 of you have dark vision, and only one of those people is driving a horse. So do you want to torch up, or how do you want to travel? Because it's gonna be it's gonna be night, you know.
Yeah,
You can just cast light.
Okay, you can cast light.
I'll cast light on. Do I have to maintain concentration?
No, light I don't think is concentration.
Can I cast it twice?
I don't know, check.
Spell ends if you cast it again, so I can only cast it once.
Yeah, I was just
Who
checking. There's no
wants it?
moon in the sky, so it is actually really dark.
And I double checked. I do not have dark vision. I just have the snow vision.
Right.
Which
Um,
is helpful, but
I'll cast light on Vincent's horse's bridle headpiece.
Yeah.
yeah.
Horse hat.
That way, yeah, his
Gotta-
horse.
I have
hat.
headlights. Literally, I have headlights.
I know, that's why I did it. I live in horse country. I know what this is.
Horse country,
it's
USA.
got a- It's got a little
Literally, it's called
headlight.
horse country.
Yeah.
It's a headlight.
That's so good.
Sabriel will stay ahead though, so that it doesn't fuck up his dark vision.
Yes. So you're gonna be like a good 60 feet ahead, and then you have
Yeah.
That's good too. If anything is attracted to the light, the trouble you'll kind of see the trouble coming. There are things attracted to the light, however. Moths. The last moths of winter. That will just kind of start not swarming, but there'll be enough of them to be annoying for Vincent as you're traveling a bit further. It seems actually that this area was a great place for little creatures and critters like that to nest. Because you have the light, when you approach the edge of this hoodooed region, you can see them. If you don't know what a hoodoo is, they're kind of these weird, completely natural structures created by floodplains and stuff. And they're just like weird, soft stone hills in strange shapes. It's kind of a valley of them. Because they make such strange shapes, especially if you're willing to climb a little, you can kind of hide a camp very easily. In fact, if you were goblins, you could easily hide an ambush. But I'm sure that'll be fine.
I'm sure there's no way that's gonna go wrong.
I prepared the proper spells in the event we do indeed get ambushed. We're fine.
Yeah. So you're saying among these formations, like that might be a place to camp.
Well, there would be a great place to camp if you don't want to do any rolls and just like, because at this point you would have been traveling all day. It's pitch black. This area is actually pretty creepy in the pitch black because it's like the light from the spells and the light that your dark vision sees is just kind of the edges of these strange shapes carved into the snow-blasted stone. And there are little tiny holes and crevasses that creatures and wind have dug into them. You could make a survival check to go and try and find a even more secure place to camp, or you just be like, we're bedding down here on the edge.
I think Snow doesn't want to push much further, especially if this seems like ambush territory. It's like the more we go, the more likely we are to hit an ambush.
On that note, Sabriel, can I make a roll for Sabriel? Given his military experience with his dark vision, if he can see from where we're at any place that would be prime ambush.
Sure.
Place, and then we can camp in that spot.
The old Northerners counter ambush. I know that one well. Yeah, I think that would just be a straight intelligence check, just to see if you can, go on ahead, find anything. Maybe in that time, Snow and Peep can gather some berries and stuff on the edge of the region or something.
Well, I would put Peep down then, yeah. Oh no, Sabriel.
They put him down.
No, Peep's on Sabriel's horse.
Yeah,
Peep's on Sabriel's horse.
When you get further into this region, the ground is somewhat unsteady. And in just darkness, like dark vision is only 60 feet and it's vague.
Yeah.
It's like when I had an experience recently, I was like, this is dark vision. Seeing in dark vision is seeing on a full moon night. You can see pretty far, but if there is a shadow, it is dark. You can't see anything into it. And there's a lot of structures creating shadow here. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you are sensible enough to actually be like, I'm not going to go too much further. I'm not going to climb anything. I'm going to keep me and the horse safe. Not going to venture too far. There is always some safety in just being on the edge of a region like this, because anyone living within it doesn't have much reason to go out and find you. People coming in from the way you came would find you quite easily, but you're not really worried about that, so.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna just come back then. He'll have taken Peep off of his horse and left him with Snow while he went and did that.
Yeah. Right. You can set up a camp. Do you want to have watches?
I'll take first.
I'll have a
watch.
Rolex.
You wish you had a Rolex.
Sabriel will take the second half of the watch. That way everyone else can sleep. Because I don't sleep.
Oh, fuck.
So Vince and then Snow and then Sabriel with the rest?
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so Pete gets the freebie.
So what, it was Vincent, Snow, and then Sabriel.
Yeah, doubling up for Sabriel.
Great. In which case, you three give me perception checks. With Vincent and Snow, you'll have disadvantage.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
I don't always remember. But then also you're hearing things, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
Well,
oh no.
Vincent and Snow, when you're doing your watches, it is calm. It's peaceful. It's a strange place, but you have like a fire, but it's down low, and you can't really see into the region, but you can occasionally hear just activity of, this isn't just plains anymore, so there are like creatures that live amongst the stone, and but nothing particular. Nothing ever attacks any of you. And then you can get the rest of your sleep in perfectly fine. Sabriel, when you were doing your rest, your watch after having some meditation, you have a bit of an advantage because this would be when dawn is starting. But you start to recognize, and you would have actually noticed it during your trance as well, a somewhat rhythmic rumbling. That you can feel through the ground. You can't really hear it. You can feel it. It's not nearby, but you couldn't feel it when you were camping, when you were kind of on the road or anything like that. I mean, I guess you were on a horse, but just enough to be like, oh, being here for a few hours, you can, especially while meditating, anything like that kind of pings to a mind. And there's a sort of rhythmic, there would be 3 or so of these rumbling bursts every hour. And it seems like it's the way you're going, it would be south.
Can I think of anything that might be?
Nature check. That's a pretty good roll. Yeah, you can take your time, listen even more, and you realize it's steam geysers
Okay.
from under the ground here. So in the region you'll be traveling through, there will be these geyser eruptions. That can be pretty dangerous if you're caught out, but now that you know to look out for them, it should be pretty easy to avoid.
Yeah, he won't wake anybody up for that. No, he'll keep a mental note of the timings that he's feeling and such as he's keeping his watch, so he knows, and like the vague directions in which he's feeling them.
Yeah.
So
it seems like there's a cluster south, maybe beyond where the most dense part of this Hoodoo Valley is. Okay. Everyone can wake up. It's a get cold and uncomfortable. It's real cold now, but
well, that'll get in your joints and won't let go.
what does that mean?
Oh. It means everything is stiff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Cyber's like, yes, old. Okay, I got it.
Meanwhile, Snow probably has like the fur or whatever like draped over his back, but he's got like his chest open still. It's just chilling there.
It's like the fur that you got. It's like a half cape for Snow. You gotta have like a rope to tie it around. Like it's
Well, that's why he got extra ones. That way Snow can have two.
Oh, okay.
Because Sabriel's got his cloak. He doesn't need one of those. He just can use his cloak.
That's
your new Ned Stark cloak.
Mm-hmm.
Peep's probably burrowed in somewhere.
Peep's got
You go to
cloak
wake Peep
for
and there's a
fur.
little like peep hole.
Yeah.
Fur nest.
Oh.
So Sabriel in the morning will just make sure, especially with Snow and Vincent and the horses, because Peep's just going to be on either his or Vincent's horse at this point, so he doesn't need to really worry about Peep. But he'll warn them about the geysers and point it out if it happens while everyone's awake, so that they know.
It's rhythmic enough that you can kind of be like, here's one now, and Peep would definitely feel it. The other two, I don't know so much, but you're like, there's something. Also, here's the question. Did you bring Grimward with you? He's an NPC.
Oh,
You could have chosen to leave him at the edge of town.
Oh, I thought it was a given that we brought him with us.
I
Yeah, we
assumed you were going to, but I feel the need to double check.
We would have brought him, yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
good.
That's why Peep's on Sabriel's horse, so the Grimward has to ride with Vincent.
He's very light.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Just-
How much does a skeleton weigh? Like 30 pounds? 20 pounds?
Skeletons weigh like, I know this. Don't ask how.
Because
but
the
it
bones
is.
are dry, you see. When they're inside a
Yeah.
living thing, the bones are wet.
Yeah.
Apparently, the average is 9.3 kilograms or 20.5 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
20 pounds or so.
It's pretty good.
Was he a big boy in life?
He was a painfully average-shaped boy.
Okay. So
You
20
just gonna have
pounds.
to ride on the back of my horse, I guess.
Yep.
Hey, Sabriel bought his clothes and gave him some of his own clothes.
It feels
You can
less
ride on
like you
Vincent's
have a skeleton hugging you while you're riding, but it's impossible to forget.
How can you forget? His elbows are a little bony. I mean, they just dig right into my side.
Oh,
Cool.
jeez.
You're all ready to keep on traveling?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
On the directions you were given, I actually forgot to mention this before. In this area, probably a bit past the Hoodoos, you were told that there is a old. I guess they would say old giant art. And that'll be one of your signs of where to go as well. First, you travel through the hoodoos, which are very beautiful in the day. They are kind of a mixture of grey stone, or the kind of white and blue stone, but they kind of get grey where the stuff like microparticles have kind of attached to it and adhered to it, and it's been blown through. And in some places they've fallen apart, and that's kind of made even more interesting shapes, almost being held together by the cold. You do see the occasional thing living amongst here, such as little snow lizards, and stuff like that. In fact, this would be the perfect place for some more winter kobolds to be, but if there are any, you don't see them. This is the session of I describe an animal and everyone's like, ah! This is why I make custom animals, because they always go down a treat.
I want this one and I want that one.
I usually make them familiar options too.
In your world is just gonna happen.
It's been asked many a time. Nothing does jump out and ambush you. You would be keeping aware of everything. It's strange, it's beautiful in a kind of haunting way, and it does protect a bit from the cold. When you travel beyond this bit, and again, it's not actually snowing today, so all the snow is kind of just crunched into almost like an ice layer. But the area next is where these steam geysers are. You actually see one. It's like there's a rumbling and then blast of steam and water that kind of cascades into the air and reveals the area around it beyond most of these hoodoos. But there's still some hills and rocks and things. Between cold, packed snow, you can see glossy blue ice. It's almost like streaks where the snow hasn't settled, and you can sometimes see, bubbling under it, like either bubbles that are collecting or are traveling in certain directions. Quite dangerous to travel fast on a horse across this kind of area, but not horrible if you know what you're doing. You guys just gonna keep on traveling carefully?
Maybe we should travel a little slower across these, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Snow is going to pick up a rock off the ground. Is it warm?
It's a little
Lots
warm.
of times.
Yeah, it's a little warm. The steam, obviously, but the some of the water under this ice is warm. The air around you is painfully cold in comparison.
Yeah. He's gonna rub the stone on his arms to warm them up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Sabriel's probably got his cloak pulled around himself and by extension Peep in his lap.
So there's Peep's face out the front of the cloak.
That's funny.
We gotta draw that.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Just lizard head just poking up from Sabriel's
Tongue out to smell the steam. Yeah, this is the area where the geysers are, and there is this kind of okay, that one set off, and then there's another one that way. They're on a schedule. And you can keep a bit of a wide berth to them now that you know they're there. They're not particularly obvious on the surface, which is a bit of a surprise. Maybe it's the snow, maybe it's the ice. I'd like all of you to make perception checks for me, please.
Okay. Just normal?
Just normal, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Peeps busy looking at the.
Sabriel sees sounds. And ghosts. He sees dead people too, but that's beside the point.
Snow, when you're traveling, you are the highest person up. You can also see through the it's not really snowing, but there is always that kind of like mist of such a cold area and steam, which you can see through very well. And while you're traveling, you see what might have been what the Northmen were mentioning. It almost looks like half of a hill with a flat side, and there is a kind of awning over it. No pillars, and there's just icicles and things. And you see a body leaning under there, and you realize it is a giant's body. Like, you only see it on the very edge, but just for you to be able to see it from this distance, that must be the body of a giant. It's kind of leaning up against this wall. You can't really see the details of the wall other than the kind of icicles and things all crunching up around it. And it's kind of at the edge of where this these clear, glossy ice areas are. Sabriel, you don't immediately see that even with your 20 because you are kind of looking around this region. You can see, like really, really far with your elf eyes, this is clear, flattish ground. This is exactly what your eyes were designed to see battle across, and you can see, however far ahead, there is this cave goblin settlement. It's kind of built into the hills. You can even see it's been built out of the hill. There would have been a natural cave, and it's kind of been built out with some structures. And as you're kind of focusing on that, your senses kind of trigger to something else, and you see a large dark shape under the ice. Quite deep under it, but it is almost snake-like in its motions, like a sea snake or something. It's very deep. While you are worried about it, doesn't seem like it was interested in you guys. And then you kind of have the realization that it almost seemed deeper than this kind of like warm current of water, which means it would have to travel through it. And maybe a creature doesn't want, a creature that's used to the cold water wouldn't probably want to go into the hot water and vice versa. So you think you're probably safe, but you might want to be careful.
Yeah, he'll point that out after he points out everything else. We might want to tread lightly, even with the ice. There seems to be something deep below. I don't know that it will want to come up here, but I don't think we should give it any reason to want to try to come up here.
So should we leave the horses here and go on foot?
Like, now we're in like the middle of this area. I don't know if we should.
Yeah,
leave
there's
over
no
here.
leaving the horses. No. But let's go slowly, but
Snow would also. Oh, sorry.
carefully.
Snow would also point out the giant's corpse that he sees, which is
Is
off
it a
to-
corpse?
Yeah, is it actual?
It's too far away to really tell, but Sabriel, you could be like with your camera eyes, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, there is a structure there, and kind of resting under the awning of it is a frozen body of a giant, seemingly. Again, you'd have to get closer, but it looks dead. It's not shivering or moving anything.
He's gonna ignore the clear question mark NPC over there for the moment and like an exclamation point above his head.
What if that's a Grimwald giant? It's a dead giant. Oh no.
We have to focus. Oh, Sabriel is thinking.
How far away is the giant from us? Give or take.
10 minutes riding. Being careful.
How far away is the goblin settlement from us?
Yeah.
The rest of the day, so a good
Oh, wow.
6 hours or probably less than that.
We could always check out the giant on the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
I
he wakes up and follows us.
Alright,
Well, but
Zeke.
the problem is if we dally too much here, the goblins might come to us on bad terms.
That and whatever's below, if that giant does indeed wake up and get up, I have a feeling it will get noticed far faster than we do. So, We should probably slip past it.
Very well. Slow and steady wins the race.
Most days.
Cool. You
Stares
keep on-
off in war.
Stares off in elf. You can keep traveling across the ice slowly, carefully. There is still the rhythmic eruptions of the steam geysers until you kind of travel past them, and then there you can just hear them behind you. Whatever that thing you saw under the ice, Sabriel, it doesn't seem like it's following you. But then soon you get kind of past the ice and just onto more snow and rock and the occasional snow-laden bushes and things, and then it's onwards through that onto the goblin settlement. Like I described, it's kind of made up of, it might even be a kind of very large one of these hoodoos. But if you imagine where the natural cave would be, there is almost more of a very rustic, but stone-built gate. And then there's also kind of more like a bit of a castle-ish bit built onto the side. It's like they've been building up and out, and they've carved out into the hill a little bit more, so there's kind of like a balcony area as well, but even from afar you can see that there's a couple of guards there. You can just see from the motion. How do you want to approach? With violence is the answer from Snow.
Sabriel.
I will.
I don't know, go ahead, Vincent.
I'll step ahead, hopping off my horse, and I'll hand the reins over to Snow for a moment.
I think.
And I'll approach. Nothing, no weapons drawn or anything. I will have my shield drawn, but my sword will be sheathed.
Yeah. Anyone want to kind of travel with Vincent as Vincent is making the peach approach?
Sabriel's not got any weapons or anything out. He's got them on him, of course, and his cloak, but they're hidden under his cloak, so you can't see them anyway. But he has the orb in his gloved hands, clearly visible.
Okay. Peep, you staying with Snow or traveling forward with the grown-ups?
I'll I'll stay with Snow.
Okay. Grimwald will also stay with Snow. So
Grimwald's holding the reins to both the horses.
the
So I'm just gonna let you know, if fighting breaks out, Snow is gonna hand them to Grimwald and just be like, "Here, it's your problem."
It's like that scene in Kung Fu Panda holding the bridge.
Yeah.
And then eventually Grimwald's gonna run and Peep just holding on to both of them.
The horses, and then the horses are gonna get spooked, and then we're never gonna see Peep again. And Peep's gonna get eaten by the giant, the giant fucking Leviathan under the ice.
Actually, that's a good point. Like, if Grimwald has to hold the horses and they just go, he weighs 20 pounds. He's not gonna be able to hold them back at all.
No.
He's gonna be flying along behind them.
It's
like,
a token gesture at best.
It's Mr. Bones' wild ride.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sabriel and Vincent
Experience.
travel up to the gate of this hobgoblin settlement, or cave goblin settlement, and you can see the one guard currently up there, because there's kind of a balcony above the gate. They are wearing the same kind of garb as the ones that you attacked, and it's hide. There's some metal, like there is some smelting and stuff on there, but it's mostly kind of hide, and also a lot of furs as well. But it's a lot lighter. You don't see any weapons on him, and that becomes evident when you get close enough to be within yelling distance. This bald hobgoblin would slam his foot on the balcony, and you feel a vibration, and then a pillar of stone will jut up in front of Vincent, and then it will split into 5 much smaller pillars that form a line, like a little wall that you can see through. And the hobgoblin will call out in common, "Hold! Explain yourselves why you're here. Swiftly."
We have come to mend a broken fence between us. It seems we have something that belongs to you that we wish to return in the hopes to restore peace.
He will take a look and he'll just give a kind of a big enough nod that you can see it from the distance, and then he will step kind of into the doorway and kind of call through. That pillar will then just back down into the ground. After a few moments, the gate will open, and that hobgoblin will wait there for a bit. Then, after a few moments, it'll be actually one of the lesser goblins, one of the cave goblins that comes out. They're very old, kind of crone-like. They're wearing a big outfit of, it's probably several layers, and then also a warm fur layer on top of it. And there's kind of little clay bangles and jangles that make all this sound as she moves, and what hair she still has is kind of pulled into fairly intricate but loose braids, which also have clay bindings and things on them. And being a cave goblin, it's a kind of reddish clay skin color, noticeably different from the red skin of the hobgoblin up on the balcony. And also, when she comes out, there is going to be... You could see the goblins inside the doorway, just in case. A couple of lesser goblins with bows, a couple of hobgoblins with weapons, like long swords, just in case. She will approach, and she will actually then start saying some stuff in Goblin that you don't quite understand, and then offer both hands to for the orb to be placed within them. She's not wearing any kind of gloves.
I drop to one knee so that we're eye to eye and we can see each other. I'm sorry for any trouble this caused. I don't speak your language, and I apologize for that as well, but we just would like to make this right, and I'll kind of gesture up to Sabriel.
Vincent, can you give me a persuasion check for this? Just to sort of see, it might be more of a mending between peoples. Hey! Vincent the empath. You don't speak language, and it seems like she doesn't speak common either. That guard does. But then also, you weren't actually there. The other goblins didn't speak common either. So it's a bit weird. The guard might be the only one who can, but just the genuineness comes through, and the goblin crone kind of gives a nod of understanding, and will actually even kind of pat your shoulder in a kind of grandmotherly way, which is kind of nice.
Just bow my head in response.
Sabra will just hold it out for her to take it, but he's gonna look up at the guard who speaks common. Just tell her that the town wasn't the one that took it. It was a giant, and he's been dealt with.
He looks confused at that.
That's all he's gonna tell him.
It was a giant.
Yes, we recovered that in the middle of a battle with the giants, some ways from here to the south.
Well, then the attacks on your town were a misunderstanding, but they will not be happening again. And at this point, but while he's saying that, the crone takes the orb and will then put like a little over it and swaddle it up and say some sort of very clear prayers. And as she does, the little clay kind of they're almost like round wind chimes, but they will kind of glow with the same light of the orb and kind of wiggle and make like the little kind of clay chime noise as she's kind of saying this prayer, which is both humbling and divine, and also really weird and kind of creepy. And then she will just and start and head back inside. You can see that the hobgoblin atop the wall is a little bit divided whether he should ask more questions or kind of let you go. He scratches at the back of his head. Like I said, he's bald, and it seems like there's some sort of roundish tattoo on the back of his head. And like all goblins, there is this just line that runs down his body. Looks a little different to some of the other goblins here. None of the other goblins are Some of them are bald, some of them are old.
He has a tattoo on the back of his head.
Yeah, as he's thinking, he turns and kind of scratches, and you can see it. It's like a ring.
Does it look familiar?
Yeah.
God damn it. Alright. He's not going to answer any more questions.
That's.
It depends on what he asks. What's he gonna ask?
He's unsure if he's gonna ask right now. He's debating whether it's worth talking to you guys more. It's because he seems to be the only one that can, or he's the only one there right now.
Do we see that he wants to ask more questions?
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
Cybrel's just like, God damn it.
We need to eat. We couldn't help to break
Yes.
bread to further our cause here.
I have questions for this one. He's
Perhaps we
clearly
can
thinking about something.
Perhaps we can share a meal and discuss further your questions that you have.
Very well. He'll motion down to some of the guards below, and then we'll just kind of take the edge of the balcony and vault off. And it's a good 20 feet, and he just lands very lightly on the snow below.
Okay, Legolas.
If Legolas looked like this, I'd be more into him. And he will approach as he asks some of the other goblins to clearly bring some stuff out. You're not going inside.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And at that moment, I think it's a great time for a little break. And you can ask your questions and share a little meal in a bit. We'll be back in 5 or 7 minutes or so. See you then.
This will be interesting.
Our homes were burned. Our families displaced or worse. We needed a hero. She was our hero.
We were oppressed. Pressed to our limits. Beaten and exhausted. When we had no champion, he became our champion.
Hello! Thank you for the raid while we were on break, by the way. That's hilarious. Let me do my spiel for anyone new. I have a board game series on Kickstarter. It's called Schism. It's the Kickstarter's halfway through and we need a lot more support. Even just like $10 will help Kickstarter's algorithm recommend it to people because it's just not doing that. It's a really solid board game set in the same area of the D&D world that this campaign is in. So if you like my D&D, if you like games like Warhammer, BattleTech, all that kind of thing, but you think, man, this is too complicated, I can't keep track of all the rules, and the game is scaring away my friends. They're having nightmares about how complicated the rules are, which I think may have actually happened to me once. This is literally the game for you. There's a huge market for people who want a game like this. We just need to get it to them and grab them and get them to pay attention to this. So this on Kickstarter, if someone could do the Kickstarter or Schism in the chat, that'd be great. Really take a look. I appreciate it. It's going back on the bed now to sleep. And we can continue with Goblin negotiations. So. Whew. Sabriel, do you want to explain to Vincent in character what you've noticed? And do you also want to go get the other 2/3 party members?
I don't know that Sabriel's gonna have time to explain this to Vincent before old dude hops down off the wall.
He's already down, but he's not like walked up to you yet. It seems like they're setting up for an actual small meal.
Nutshell it for me.
Something to do with that tattoo may or may not have something to do with what destroyed or /teleported Slate Cove. I need further information. I need to figure this out.
Oh.
Do you want to go get the others and see if they would like to join us?
Sure. I will walk back, taking my time as he approaches.
Oh, Sabriel's gonna wait. Sabriel's not gonna try to talk to him one-on-one. He's just like
Okay.
asking if you want to go get the others.
Yeah, I'll turn around and just kind of raise my shield up and signal the others to come forward.
Are you gonna?
Here,
Yep.
Grimwald, you hold the horses. nah, Grimwald can come up too, I guess.
No, Grimwald will stay back with the horses. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know what Goblin's thoughts on undead are, but
He doesn't look like an undead right now. He's got a
Yeah, he
Awesome.
just looks like a weirdo.
He looks like a really skinny human in elf clothing.
Yeah, he looks like one of those elf wannabes.
yeah, I guess Snow is not happy about it, but he's gonna come up and he'll like sit down, but like 20 feet away from the area that they're gonna eat.
Sure. They literally roll out like a wooden, kind of like a big wooden wheel, like almost one of those wheels you'd store like cable on, and it's like goof, as a bit of a table.
Hey, those are
Okay,
good tables.
Yeah,
Yeah,
People use those as tables here. No,
Yeah.
that's legit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Goblin tables. Goblins use them.
Don't call out the South.
If anywhere needs calling out, it's the South at all times. They'll then bring some food over, and it'll be this hobgoblin who's with the tattoo who's kind of is out there, and as they're kind of bringing stuff over, he will sort of speak up. You're a strange group to be to be bringing this back to us from the town. It's not something we expected, but we appreciate it.
Well, we figured
just
it
want-
would probably stop the attacks on the town.
Yeah, we just wanted to do the right thing.
It wouldn't be the first time that humans have raided a precious place to our community. So, forgive our violence. At this point, there would be a big, teapot basically brought out with a kind of root tea in it that's hot, and then there would be some little kind of rolls of a bread made from nuts. You can each take one if you wish. It's very dry and very hardy, but it is edible. Yeah.
Judging someone at their worst is too dismissive. People should be judged at their best, no matter who they are.
The hobgoblin gives a smile, revealing, the kind of sharp canine teeth. And he's also missing a couple. And it looks like, from your experience, that he's lost them in a fight. They're not just fallen out. Like, these will be punched out at some point. And he's like, that is wisdom not often granted to us by humans or elves.
Tell me, do you play cards? And I'll pull out a deck of cards and start shuffling.
I have played cards. It's been a while.
Well, we're sharing dinner. Might as well share a game, and I'll start shuffling even more.
I like how this is while Snow is sitting like 20 feet away on his own. Just like the outcast, yeah.
Like at the kitty table, mad.
I want to try to use my background feature of fast friends to try to assist with this diplomacy with this hobgoblin.
It's a great idea.
Heap. Do you still have that bottle of
yeah. He like shimmies the thing, he digs to the bag.
Can we
A drink as well, then, yes? To warm the body and the spirit?
Yeah.
Very well. And we'll kind of roll out the mugs, I guess, for vodka instead of tea.
Sabriel's just like, let's ply him up, let's go. He looks at him though as they're doing that. I have a question, and please don't think me trying to be rude by asking it, but may I ask about the tattoo on your head?
It's from a different life I once had. That's why I can speak your trading tongue quite well.
It's not mine.
Yeah. I spent some time in, I suppose, what you would call a cult or mercenaries. I mean, they only worked for each other. It was more of a cult. I left and returned back to my people.
How sincere does he seem?
Yeah. does he
roll
actually
insights.
seem like he's left?
Yeah. Good old insight rolls. Yeah, those are really good. He seems genuinely, it's someone talking about a time in their life that they have moved past and they're not entirely proud of.
Okay.
On that note, actually, first, I think we have been rather rude, haven't we? What is your name?
My name is Lethar.
You may call me Sabriel. Purposely not saying Lord Commander, and looks at Vincent like, don't.
Yeah.
Don't give me away.
Does your clan have a name?
We kind of have always gone without one. My people, we hobgoblins here, were not the founders. It was the smaller, lesser cave goblins who, of course, found this place, and it's quite common for our communities to split apart, reform, refind each other. As things got quite crazy recently, we've bound together. The warrior whose tomb that orb was laid within helped join our two communities. He never really thought to put a name to it. It's a very human thing to do. It's not like we were looking to be on any maps. We just are
Um,
our people.
My apologies. I didn't mean to offend. Just
I understand the need for naming things. It's just not exactly something that we goblins of the wilds care for.
Or his brain immediately, goddamn city goblins. Like... Sorry. Goblin brain was like, yeah.
so. How long have you been manning these walls?
I must have left almost 4 years, maybe 3.5, to come back home, lead the wars. The people I was with, they taught me some magic that has been welcomed back here. Just enough.
Can you tell me anything about this cult that you had been with?
Furrows his brow a little. Rolling an insight roll on you, basically.
Yeah.
I suppose you would call them religious. More of a... They had a creed, they had a purpose. There were these artifacts. Stones of power connected to the elements, and they wished to rejoin them to some ancient gate. I witnessed them raise the gate, but they never acquired all of the stones. At a certain point, the cult was going to travel to a far continent, away from Jarviskjir, and I thought that was too much. I said no. They weren't the most willing to let me leave. A lot of them were getting stronger the more their crusade continued. Magic they're wielding almost getting the better of them. I'd been wanting to leave for a while, and taking a step through a burning portal to another continent was too much. So I went back home.
Mentally, Sabril is like, God damn it.
If it makes you feel better, I'm fairly sure the entire cult is gone. They never came back. They could travel instantaneously. They had a powerful mage of some kind who could create doorways between places of this world instantly, and if they could return, I imagine they would have, but I've been keeping an ear to the stone, and I have heard nothing of their return.
Was this gateway happen to have been opened in Slate Cove?
The old, the gate to the primordial prison, yes. It was, destroyed the town. It was quite the battle.
Sabril's just sitting there, like, doing this. I see.
I'm sorry you had to see those things. It must have been a very traumatic experience.
It is more traumatic to look back upon. While I was with them, they made such things seem normal. Opening that gate was the purpose. They believed that the world we live upon was stolen, and that they would do anything to set the original sin right. It would be like stealing a loaf of bread to feed a starving child. That's not how they explained it, but it's how the morality worked. One crime to set something right. But it was more than one crime. Thefts, murders, searching across the entire globe for trinkets.
What you saw is nothing compared to what you experienced. You gave a part of yourself to something you believed in that let you down tremendously. And that's where the trauma is.
Stavros over here, like, not to be insensitive, but I do apologize for making you recount these, but as you've likely figured out, I have an investigation to complete, report to make, if that makes sense to you.
I do not hide it.
Do you happen to know where where they were looking for that they never found? Like what they were, where they might be?
There were 4 stones. And they sent teams out all over to look for them, and they found 1. It took 1 stone to awaken the gate. It was empowered with elemental earth. These stones held a high amount of power over whatever this gate was. It's old. Older than I think even they really knew, other than the pair in charge. Supposedly, they learned from a dragon. But I don't know if that it might just be a story. Now looking back to it, the leader was always very quiet and gentle, not like a dragon, I would imagine. That's where he learned the power that he shared amongst us, and the stones were almost a part of that. Once they had found one, then the power in the whole of us grew. We never found the others. We knew there were more. Tried to even capture one. There were these warriors who were looking for the stones as well, to send them away. I think one was sent far out of our reach. The Stone of Water was never even a rumor of it found. And the Stone of Fire is where the entire cult went to find on this far continent. They never returned. I don't know what they found or what found them. Maybe they have it and maybe they're waiting. I don't know. I don't think they would. They all wanted everything to happen so quickly.
Well, thank you for the information. That will help me tremendously in my report.
I think whatever cause they had... I don't think a cause like that dies with the cult. I think there might be others like me who held on to it. On what they were they started things in motion. Everything was still, and they started things in motion. Maybe that's what you're following. I don't know. I can't deny that. Even the geysers near to here have been more violent, and the earth has felt unsettled. It pushes more against me when I bend it, and he will kind of raise a hand, and like the stone nearby will go like some steps, and then
he's an earthbender.
He's basically an earthbender.
He's the boulder. Sorry. Well, again, thank you. Apologies for making you recount that, but this, I think, will help fix some things in the future.
You want to fix it? You want to put that right?
I'm not entirely certain what's going to be done with it.
I think
that's what we're trying for.
If the gate can be risen, it can be put back down. What they were aiming for was setting things right. I have to imagine that raising the gate... Maybe the gate can be destroyed, I don't know. You need an army. Or a dragon.
Savrel's just like, Luckily, we got armies. We got you. I think the army thing I can acquire quite easily, if need be. It's probably the first time actually Peep and Snow have heard Sabriel be like, yeah, I can get an army, no problem, it's fine.
I don't think I'd be able to answer any more questions you have.
No, that is more than enough, thank you.
It would be good for all of that to be buried away. He'll say standing, and he'll pick up some of the things on the table, but not all of them.
Would you like help cleaning this up?
No, I'm sure you need to be back on your way. Again, our people thank you. It is right, even after we attacked you, to return the orb, but...
The dead bodies.
Oh, they're already ash.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
While this has been going on, how drunk has Pete got?
That's up to you.
Probably not that drunk.
It's only a small little bit of vodka.
Yeah.
If it looks like the conversation is wrapping up, Snow will actually butt in. And like as respectfully as he can say it, he would ask the hobgoblin, basically be like, he wants to ask him about the guy who led the,
How are you going to do that? What are you going to say to him? Standing up and walking over like Dumbledore asking Harry what he put in the Goblet of Fire.
We decided it was the pyromancer dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure use the right name. So he's honestly, he's not even gonna say no. He's just gonna, from where he's standing, say, He's just gonna be like, I don't know. He'll be like, I apologize for if this question is perhaps a bit, if this is something you cannot answer. But do you know of Pyromancer Wyrex?
I can bend fire as I can bend the earth, the water, and the air, but not many of my kin can. If you want fire mages, I imagine you wanted the war called. Our people never joined them. Never would have.
Snow's face will relax a little bit at that. And he would say, do you know where they are?
We've had
The
some
remnants.
come down this way, scattered to the winds, back to their old ways. I've heard of some fighting as mercenaries, but even to other goblins we do not entirely often open our doors. It's not always a friendly face. I cannot help you.
Snow would just nod and then say, thank you.
He'll take up as much as he can of the stuff, and he will start heading on back inside, crunching his feet in the snow.
Sabra will toss him a small bag of like 10 gold or something like that for the answering the questions.
Sure. He'll...
Or if you need anything, send word.
He'll give a bit of a nod. It's one of those things where it's like, it's unlikely, because this was a good conversation, but it's not exactly the bonds between two species completely changed. But who knows? It's definitely a real good step in the right direction. His name was Lethar.
Lethar, yeah.
And he will head back inside, and they'll close their little gate on their hobbit goblin hole house. And you can be left out in the cold and the snow with a lot more information about this elemental cult.
Sabrel's got so much shit to do.
Now back south.
North.
Wait, yes, north.
Yeah.
Shall we stop back through town on our way to the halfling village, or just go through?
Is that going to carry us out of our way, or to go back through town?
The way they recommended you to go would have been from Lendr, so you could just go back to where you came. You could go a different route too, but
Do we want to check out the giant?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely peep in on that and see what's going on with that situation.
peep.
Uh,
Okay. Any conversations you want to have as you're getting back on your horses and starting off that way?
Did you learn what you hoped to learn?
Far more than I thought I was going to learn. I thought we were potentially going to have some difficulty with that conversation, but he was fairly forthcoming. So.
It does seem you do really catch more flies with honey.
I just need information. I don't need flies.
Ha 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 ha!
Is that really what? What does this mean?
What does Grimwald think of the hobgoblin? I want to know his thoughts.
Oh, you ask? Everyone's like,
Yeah.
hobgoblins are dangerous creatures.
I would say the same of humans.
I agree about the hobgoblin thing.
Everyone's being a smart ass, by the way.
Humans can also be dangerous, though. So would not acknowledge that.
Sabriel trying to crack a joke. No one understands that Sabriel's trying to crack a joke because it's Sabriel and he doesn't do that.
That's what his husband's for.
That's
Sabriel
what
walks
Cal's
in.
for.
Tell us a 785-year-old joke. No one laughs. Doesn't elaborate. Leaves.
Sabriel's that Tumblr post of vampires using slang throughout the centuries.
Or like, I imagine for elven comedians, it must be really rough because, like, even for normal comedians, sometimes they have to like reuse a lot of jokes over like a couple decades worth of comedy. The elves have got like the same jokes they used for 500 years.
Yeah, listen, Cal is the comedian between the two of them. Sabriel
At the same time,
just
Cal
like-
is definitely repeating jokes at this point.
Oh yeah, he is. Sabriel's collecting jokes for Cal while he's out. I did this. He collects jokes for his husband. And songs.
On the way back, you can go back through the geyser field. That hobgoblin did say were more erratic, but they do seem very rhythmic. So you can avoid them, and you can head over to where you see all that giant corpse. Like I said, it's almost like a half of a hill covered in snow, where you can see where it's open. There's just this big flat open space with an awning over it that's just covered in icicles, and sometimes the icicles even reach the ground and have kind of been pilled up by snow. But there is this kind of open, smooth chunk of wall, which as you approach, you see more details on it. But I don't know how you want to approach. The giant is leaning on the far north side. This thing is facing west, so the line of it goes almost exactly south to north, and the giant is on the far north side, kind of slumped up against the wall. It's holding many things. It appears to be a dead frost giant from this distance, now that you're closer. But you'll have to get
Appears
closer
to
to
be
look.
dead.
As we get within 60 feet of it, I will activate Divine Sense and just see if I feel anything otherworldly presence coming from it once we get within 60 feet of it.
What does your divine presence sense exactly?
Celestial, fiend, or undead.
You sense none of that.
Does Sabriel ping as a celestial?
Sabriel does have celestialness inside him, but with nothing else around, it's probably the only thing you sense. Yeah. And Grimwald. And Grimwald.
Oh yeah, the Grimwald too.
There's a chocolate and vanilla swirl of good and dark energy behind you.
I look over one shoulder and see the skeleton mage. I look over the other shoulder and then see Sabriel. And, huh.
Who are you?
Oh, he doesn't say it this time, but he's screaming it. His inner Sakura is just.
Like, what the fuck is this elf?
As you're now nice and close, you can see the giant pretty closely. They are definitely a frost giant. They have a kind of blue-gray skin that is sort of sunken in with death. It's hard to tell how far they've been here without a medicine check or something, but, they are kind of semi-frozen to the ground. They have a big white beard and white hair, although they were kind of balding, and they have horns. The horns are not quite like that of an antler, but they are like Snow's horns, but bigger, and they've gone in some direction, and there's some, like, metal bands on one. Kind of looks like it was broken off at some point and reattached. The giant looks like they would have been quite old beforehand, and the garb they're wearing is mostly hide. Just from kind of a knowledge of sort of giants is both that most of you already would know, just as, like, maybe bedtime stories or just knowledge you picked up, in the giant hierarchy that defined their culture and still does to some degree, even though they're all separate now. Fire giants and frost giants had a very similar and very head-butting purpose of, like, the fire giants are like the warriors, they're very much the fighters. The frost giants are the barbarians. They're not wearing the armor, they are forging stuff out of bone and hide, but this one has a little more, leathers, some metal elements to their garb. They're clutching a bag, and it would actually be a small bag for a giant, which means it's like a normal size bag for any of you, and that's very nice quality. It's very nice treated leather. It has some engravings upon it, and it's half open, which you can see it's tools. It's metal tools, wrenches, pliers, all of those things, and they would be very small for a giant. They're like precision tools for a giant, regular-sized tools for regular-sized people. Essentially a bag of tinker's tools. He also has an axe in the other hand, which is not quite in the hand anymore, and it is almost entirely hewn of, well, it'd be kind of stone. The axe head would be bone, and there's even a chunk of ever ice in the middle, which is ice that never melts. It's very shimmery and blue, almost looks like a sapphire. This would be a giant-sized hand axe, so it would be one that would have deal 1d8 damage if you were able to use giant-sized weapons like Snow.
No.
There's your giant description slam.
Are my friends losing their shit?
They are much more curious, but also very at attention.
Okay.
Yeah, Snow would approach the corpse and just kind of like stand next to it, like just like looking at it for a while.
It's clear seeing these two side by side how Snow is big. Snow is not as big as a full-grown frost giant.
Yeah.
By quite a bit. But the blue on Snow's horns and shoulders, and that is growing, is almost exactly the same blue as this guy's skin tone. And there are even some sort of swirls and patterns to it. The patterns on this guy are very... they're made of straight lines. They're kind of jagged straight lines that kind of go down the arm.
Vincent strolls up next to Snow and looks up, looks down at the body, and then I'm gonna try to determine what might have been the death of this creature.
Mm-hmm. Medicine check. If it's better for you, you can do medicine with intelligence or wisdom. I kind of allow both. Some things are only intelligence, but this would be either.
Has Snow ever seen a frost giant before?
Not up close, I imagine.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It appears, unfortunately, This guy kind of died of old age and exposure. Seeming like clearly frost giants are basically immune to the cold. Snow's over here wearing just a small capelet, but probably just was working on something and died out here. In fact, I forgot to mention, by that belt, that bag of his, on the ground are a series of stone plates. They are kind of pentagonal. There are 5 of them, and each one has some giant engraved artwork on it. Some of those glyphs they're like beyond runes. I described them before as, looking like the Monster Hunter art for creatures. They're very intricate. But yeah, this giant seemed like he just kind of died of exhaustion while doing whatever he was doing out here, which is kind of sad, but sometimes it's just the way you go. It's a very natural death, or something that caused a natural death, which can also happen, but there's no, like, tracks or evidence of necromancy or anything.
Seems as if age got this creature.
Yes, he looks old enough that could have been an ancestor of mine somewhere in the past. Although I know not how far back my blood flows.
Well, there seems to be some things here we could potentially collect and use, especially that axe looks like it could be of use to you.
Yeah, Snow would look at it and nod and would go over and try to respectfully take it from the giant.
You can. It's really the first time you felt a weapon properly designed for your size. Even though, it's technically for an even bigger creature, because it is kind of like a small, utility axe for him, becomes like a pretty hefty axe for you.
Yeah.
It has a really nice weight to it. You can almost already imagine what it would be like to kind of throw it, and the way it would travel and stuff like that is much more pleasant.
Yeah. And you said it's a D8 instead of a D6?
Yeah. Giant-sized weapons are 1 dice tier up, and small-sized weapons for Peep are 1 dice tier down.
Okay.
And when it comes to giant weapons, it's basically just the 1 category bigger. I don't mess with there being an extra 1 on top of that usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tablets, can Several make out what they say?
They have different symbols on them that don't really correspond to words, but I can tell you what they look like. They are... They range between blue and orange. Most of them have a bit of both. Some have green. The one on top of the pile is of a very large humanoid entity. It has horns. The horns kind of are like an antlers, but they curl even more. The one below that is of a group of much smaller humanoids. Fairly undetailed. There's almost like some huts behind them. The one under that is some kind of serpent with wings. The kind of artistry is very vague on it. It's like it could be wings, it could be fire. The serpent is something you see quite a lot actually in giant inscriptions. The one after that looks like it could be a castle, but it's not on the ground. The castle's made up of multiple smaller towers, and it's kind of as if it pyramids down to a point, and they're floating. You can kind of see the clouds. And then there is the last one is of this swirling vortex, where the colors are kind of at different points of it, and the colors come together as 4 different colors. And the vortex seems as if it's meant to be alive. In the artwork, it seems like it doesn't represent some kind of creature. It's the way giants do these tableaus. It's like, no, this is a living thing. It's just the design and the shape and the style and the way they've done it. Whereas, the castle isn't meant to be alive, and the other ones are.
Does that castle look familiar to me?
In vague terms, yes. If you described your home of High Thundral to someone, they could draw it like this. It doesn't really look like what it actually looks like, but there's those.
I have a theory, but I'll think
It
on
seems, when you're kind of picking that up, that upon the wall there are very faint 5 pentagonal slots in a line for these little tablets. And they're numbered. They got little dots under them to show order, so you don't have to go, which way round does it go? No, they got little dots. It's a Zelda puzzle sitting here for you.
Yeah, Ori's played far too much Zelda to be content with just. All right, you know what? Let's do it.
yeah. That's also like Sabriel too. It's like, oh, at this point now, gotta figure this out. Otherwise, I'm gonna dream about it for the next 50 years.
Yeah, poor Cal's gonna be like, Sabriel, what the fuck is this? Sabriel's gonna I fucking know, I couldn't figure it out. He's gonna pick him up, silently start doing it while everyone else is doing everything else.
Yeah.
Just start fiddling with them, trying to kind of look and work out what the tablets are.
Yeah,
the wall.
While Sabriel's doing that, I don't know, like, so Snow would take the hand axe, and then he would, like, look at the bag of, like, tools, which you said are, like, normal sized tools for any of us.
Yeah, it would be a Tinkerer Tools set.
Yeah, he would, like, take it over to Peep and, like, be like, do you think that you would have use for this?
Maybe. What kind of tools are in there?
It's literally an artisan, like, from the player handbook. It is a set of Tinkerer's tools. So it has wrenches, pliers, little things to jam in things, nuts, bolts, engineering shit.
I could try.
You seem to be a crafty one, so I'm sure you can find some use for it.
Thank you.
Anybody take the bag?
Yeah, that's going to Peep.
Oh,
yeah, that's what they're in. The tools are in the bag.
Oh, that's what the tools are in. Okay.
Yeah.
The bag of holding, just stick Grim in it. We're done.
It's definitely not a bag of holding, but it is a fairly big, quite well-made, like, squarish satchel, It's very useful, and it has other pockets on the side for, like, storing things. It can basically become Peep's another backpack, because Peep's not going to get rid of the other one.
You know what would be really good idea for us to keep an eye on our back is to put Grim in a backpack and then put him on someone's back so he can watch our backs while we're going somewhere. Food for thought later.
Speaking of thought, Sabriel, you wanted to start messing around with these tiles with the slots in the wall. Which order are you putting them in?
Let's fuck around with the fire temple. That's where we're at. Okay, so hold on. Okay, can I make a history check or something to see if Sabriel's putting together that this might be something to do with the war with the giants, or can I ask the spirits if they have anything?
You can do a history check.
Can the spirits help?
Spirits may help, depending on how good your roll is.
It's gonna be terrible. Yep.
You are thinking what you're thinking, but you don't know for sure. The best step would be probably to work out what each of these tablets represent before you start throwing them in anywhere. Like
that's
individually,
what I'm trying to do.
not like as a whole or whatever. It could be.
Yeah, he's gonna sit down and try and do that. He has a good idea of the one, but the rest of them he's not certain.
Is anyone else in the party gonna kind of help? I imagine the rest of you haven't even looked through them yet. Sabriel's probably sitting on the ground, laying them out.
Yeah,
He's He's like standing there crouched over them like this.
That's way better.
After figuring out what happened to the giant and having the conversation with Snow, I'll approach Sabriel and just, what are you working on?
Puzzle.
A
I think.
puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's an order to these.
does it
And
look
then
like
you can
anything
go.
I might have seen in my time? I'm also proficient with history. I don't know. if
You can
that
give me a
helps.
history check. Yeah. See if anything
You
jumps out to you.
also, you also said they were color coded and numbered, right?
They are color code, but they are colored. There are numbers on the wall, so you know which way
Oh,
they
okay.
go in. They definitely go in an order from 1 to 5. But yeah, you actually do. You are trained in history, and from Northenden, which is one of those places. Northenden is a collection of cultures, and you collect histories from people. And one thing that is very... It depends who you ask, but most species agree on the ages of the world and in which kind they are. This region, for instance, has ruins that date back to the Age of Giants. Before the Age of Giants was an age of primordials, supposedly. That one people don't really know about that much. And also an Age of Dragons. Then after the Giants was supposedly an age of elves and dwarves, and then currently the Age of Man. At least that's what the men say.
And that's what these tablets depict, those different ages.
You would, it seems to. You're not necessarily sure on the specifics, but you also know that giants loved history, and they loved prophecy. There's even... It's not rumors. There are rumors depending on whether you believe whether or not prophecies even exist, which in Jarviskjir, a lot of people are like, you can't predict the future. Some people are like, I'm predicting the future right now, bitch! But some people say the giant nation fell apart, not because they were attacked, but because they kind of grew too obsessed with trying to predict the future and what they saw. So this could be prophecy, which maybe has already come to pass,
I will relay that information, and I'll start trying to pick up the pieces one by one in order. Take my shield out and put it in front of me, and I'll start placing them in their sockets as I'm telling that story. And I just tell them about the time that I rolled into town just to grab some supplies for the farm, and stopped in to get a drink at the local tavern there, and ran into a Goliath, and we sat and played cards and had a conversation about the history that I learned of how giants felt about prophecy and how important it was to them. So just while I'm putting in the pieces one at a time.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to know the order. You know that they are in the order of the ages, but which one goes in first, etc.
Okay, give me the list again.
You got a big boy with horns, multiple smaller humanoids, clearly meant to be maybe man, maybe elves. There is a winged serpent, there is a flying castle, and there is just this swirling giant creature. It almost looks like it doesn't fit on the tablet.
Giant castle and just a giant creature that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Sabra will point out that the castle is very likely the elves.
So if you want it, you could put the tablet, the castle in the one for elves, which should be number 4, right? They all fit in every hole. This is something Savria would realize before, is they fit all together. It's just probably won't do anything until they're in the right order. So you've got 4, for sure. Unless you're wrong.
I'll put humanoids into 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Giants into
3.
1.
3.
Yeah, 3.
3.
Yeah,
3?
because it was primordials, then dragons, then giants, right?
I think is yeah.
Okay, then we'll do giant creature for primordial. Wait, yeah, giant creature for primordial, winged serpent for dragons.
Yeah.
And then that's
big
all
boy
5.
horns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's giants. You put them all
and
in.
I just wait.
With the shield out, and there is a clicking in the walls of a mechanical thing, and there was no space on this wall for a door, like no, but just the invisible seams just, and then we'll just start into a stairwell that kind of curves down and around, for the size of a giant as well, of course.
It's getting dark outside.
You found an ancient giant vault.
Snow is fascinated. Like there's just a look of awe on his face.
This is the best day. We have to go down. We have to go see what's down here.
Well, it's starting to get dark, so we're going to have to camp here, I think. I don't think we need to worry about the goblins, but other things, perhaps. Ori doesn't have fine traps prepared because we've been traveling for
That's
3
okay.
days.
Snow is a trap finder. He'll just take a bolt to the face or something. Actually, I gotta see my danger sense thing.
We have a trap finder. We can just put Grimwald in the front.
No.
That's not Sabriel, that's Ori.
I have my danger sense. We'll be fine.
It's like that.
I too am well suited to resist and dodge. I've been trained.
So is Sabriel.
It's like that. What's that module that's just like it's just a tomb filled with traps from
Tomb of Annihilation.
Tomb of Annihilation, yeah. I remember someone had a story about that where like their party went into the like nearby villages and bought as many sheep as they could and then just forced them in there and just let them take all the traps.
I mean, the Amber Temple in Barovia is the same way. So
that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, fucking Amber Temple.
I
threw an elf off the cliff there once.
Keeping the shield drawn, I will bring out a torch and go ahead and light it up and start. I'm looking at them like the excited child at the video store when he's about to rent his first movie. Like I am ready to go down.
Can Sabriel stop you before you light the torch?
It would be hard.
Sure.
He's gonna. What weapon does Vincent use? I forgot.
It's a longsword.
He's just gonna touch his longsword and it's gonna light up. There.
Oh, this is much better.
That way you don't have to drop the torch to draw your sword. You're welcome. Sabriel, tactician. He's like, no, let's be efficient here.
I guess we'll dive in.
Okay.
Not literally dive.
Dungeon diving. Who is first? Is I imagine
Yeah.
Vincent's first in the order of heading down these stairs.
I mean, it's up to you. If you want to go first, I'll take second. But
is it only like single file, or could we?
It would be single file for a giant,
Okay.
so it means all these. The stairwell is like a 15-foot wide, 20-foot up corridor. So yeah, you can travel double file if you want.
So we'll go behind Vince. That's okay.
Okay, then
Sabriel will put Peep in the middle. Sabriel will take up the rear. Peep and Grimwald can be in the middle.
Oh, Grimwald's going in the cave. Great.
I will tie the horses up.
To the giant's leg.
Yeah.
It's the only thing to tie it on, really.
Yeah, I was like an ice. No, he's got to tie it to the corpse. The horses are probably like, oh my god.
Nasty. But
It's okay, not zealous.
Before going down, I will assist in that process to keep Pearl calm while he ties him up. Ties her
We're gonna
up.
come back and
Goodness
the horses
gracious.
are gonna eat the giant.
Sabriel is quietly singing a song to the horse to calm it down.
Aww.
It seems like he's done this a lot with much more feisty horses.
Okay.
And then you can head within. The side of these walls is made of polished stone to the point the greys almost become blues, especially when reflecting the light from the sword. The stairwell goes down in a curve, almost back on itself, and then you are under. It is not quiet in here. There is a bubbling, rumbling all around. And first you see a long corridor. Again, single file for giants. There are places where there are, right beside you, you would definitely notice, a small 3-foot square hole in the wall. And it looks like there would have been a stone plate in front of it, and there's some mechanics that would like push it apart and to the side, but it's broken. And so you can kind of see the little, like, the cogwheels and engineering inside, and then it would even be sort of trying to move itself back into position, like one of the broken walls in Portal 2, but not quite getting itself in there. On the other side, that is just smooth wall, and then that hole, it goes down as far as you can't see. The other side appears to be a big piece of artwork. That takes up probably the length of this entire corridor. And right here, in the part you can see, there is a giant freestanding ring that towers above trees and a coastline. And it looks like there's some kind of energy leaving or being pulled into. You can't see what that energy is attached to. It's down a corridor.
Ring like the ring that was being formed that we saw. Okay, great. Yeah. This is awesome. It's all connected.
Hashtag everything's connected.
Gabriel's just sitting there like...
Pepe Sylvia!
Yeah, I was just thinking that, yeah.
It's very Sabriel. When Sabriel truly breaks...
I'll approach the other broken cog work, whatever that thing is across the room there.
Yeah, it's small. It's a 3-foot square of this smooth stone, and then just kind of tinkerings, that would make it close up that hole in the wall. It doesn't look like. I described it to the portal tiles, but it's not like the rest of the wall is made up of tiles. The rest of it is just smooth. This is just the only bit that's off. And it's like, maybe, though, you only notice it because it's broken.
All right. So it looks like this room's clear. On to the next one.
Wait a minute. Can I cast lore keeping on the wall?
Maybe. Do you want to do that?
Why does that sound dangerous? Why does that response sound like I'm going to be in danger if I do it? that was not a... Come on, Sabriel, I'm in danger. You're gonna cast lore keeping and touch the wall.
The light from your fingers down the corridor down the extra 200 feet you can't see, and it goes and lights up, and you, for a moment, which becomes many moments, Sabriel, see what a Cyclops Oracle saw quite a while ago while they were carving into this wall. From a place of hiding and engineering, they carved this site. It actually would have been looking into the past, but you get more of the essence of the person who carved it, who was a Cyclops. So the thoughts are in giant, and you feel them and they understand them, and they were writing down this moment of history, this moment when the primordials were imprisoned, based on their own tellings and their own stories and their own retrocognition. Okay. And that moment is, in a very elven way, long and short. It takes 6 seconds of you touching the wall in the real world, but it's quite discombobulating for Sabriel, especially to be momentarily in the mind of a giant, and that retrocognition. I don't know if it would Sabriel would visibly be strained by it, but it definitely. Everyone saw the whole wall light up in a crisscross for a bit.
Yeah.
Several just. Okay. Ow. All right. It's connected. Pepe Silva. I think your saturation's up, is what they're saying. Well, Zabriel's just like, oh, that's okay. He's trying to process it real quick. Give him a minute. He's old.
Yeah. Anything any of y'all want to do for a sec?
That little broken panel.
Yeah.
You said it's like 3 foot by 3
Oh,
foot,
Peep
right?
can get in there
no.
with headroom.
He's gonna get caught in the gears.
Like a
Ground up.
Victorian child. Yeah, people take a little peek-see in there.
It's
And see what's there.
a maintenance tunnel of some sort. There are some gears and mechanisms in the wall. It's hotter in there. Like, just the stone is hotter to the touch. To the point that if you travel down it, it would maybe hurt. It seems to go the same way as the wall itself, but who knows if it branches off at some point, because this corridor is, you've now seen, at least 200 feet long, and this, you just, even your dark vision just... something of note, though, no spiders, nothing like that, just gears and pistons and things.
Frost spider out of nowhere.
Although, as you are bending over, kind of looking inside, when you pull back, a black mass is going to fall on Peep from the ceiling. It is as if a blanket has been thrown over your head, but the blanket constricts. I'm going to need you to give me a dexterity save while you also react.
None of us have noticed Peep is out of sight either.
Okay, so dexterity save.
Yeah.
Sabriel's having like a several thousand-year-old flashback, and
You
People's not ready
are
for that.
grappled and muffled and suffocated and blinded. You are going to take some damage, Peep, as this creature falls down upon you. It is going to be...
They're just screaming, muffled screaming.
It's going to be 20 bludgeoning damage plus 1 acid damage.
Okay, I'm
As
still alive.
for Peep, this thing is it's kind of just like a tarp. It's like a living tarp, and the inside is its mouth, and it's just kind of suffocating you like a boa constrictor. But if it was a sheet.
Do we hear like Peep screaming even though it's muffled?
Yes, but I would like initiative rolls.
Okay. Yeah.
You'd hear that and be able to kind of see that. It's quite hard to see because the back of this creature is the exact same color as the walls.
Yeah.
oh, Sabriel,
So-
come on. There we go.
Oh, I should add an initiative for the creature, although I don't think it's really going to do anything with it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even going to
Sabriel?
bother.
Let's open first. Dag on it.
I
Sabriel's
can add
just
you.
over here having a several thousand-year-old flashback and not realizing Peep's gone off anyway.
Now, funnily enough, Peep, you're going to take damage at the start of your turn.
No.
So, there is that initial, like, and then it crunches in even tighter.
Beep.
It's going to be 14 bludgeoning damage on top of that, plus
Goodbye.
another 1 acid damage.
Okay. Wait, how much? What's the maximum possible damage this thing could do? Because that's me knocked out.
That's you
currently.
knocked out?
Come on. Well, yeah, I'm on like. I know
Oh,
it
negatives
resets
don't
0 'cause
exist.
thing A.
Negatives don't
Yeah,
exist
yeah.
in.
I'm on
in
0,
Jarviskjir.
yeah.
So
Okay,
you
no
heard
one-shotting.
you guys heard a muffled squeal and then a thump.
Yeah. Oh no.
An Ori unprepared healing word.
Ah!
I've got cure wounds, it's fine, but it's
Snow.
That's rough.
You could kind of
yeah.
look around and then you see there is. You only really see it because Peep falls, because now this thing just drapes entirely around Peep and just looks like the floor.
Okay. Like, oh god. Like, so, okay. So Snow doesn't want to pull out his sword and stab it because he might kill Peep. So he's just going to, like, would it be possible for you to just try to grab the thing and, like,
Yes.
rip it off of
Yeah,
Peep?
yeah. That would be an athletics
And, like,
check.
Basically grappling it, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, he's just gonna try to grab it. He doesn't care if it hurts him and, like, you know. But let's see, athletics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, give me something good.
I realized I didn't give
Oh.
Grim a turn. I need to do that real quick. For your fucking skeleton friend.
hey, you gave him to us.
Did I?
You did this.
Did I?
You did this.
I agreed to
I say
disagree.
as the GM who gave my party on Thursday nights an elf. It's fine.
Yeah, you can actually easily. It like pops off the ground like it was a D-zing to Peep
Like
and the
suction
ground, and then onto you, and then kind of starts thrashing, and it will just kind of turn around enough that it's starting to grab you. Now you are bigger than it. It is a 5-foot square of whatever it is. It's clearly alive because you can kind of see its inner suckers and biting bits. And it is now going to be grappled to you and be dealing damage to you, but on the start of your next turn.
Yeah, and I guess I'll rage.
Yeah, good idea.
It won't help with the acid damage, but the biting or whatever. So
Well, it only seems to do one acid damage a turn, so there's at least that.
Yeah, and that was my action to.
Yes, so that's
rip it off,
basically
so-
it, unless you want to like
Yeah,
run.
that,
But you're all in a
I
clump,
would, you
so
know, yeah, I would try to move away from the others. Like,
okay.
yeah,
So you move.
yeah.
Do you want to move back down up the stairs or further into the chamber?
further into the chamber.
Okay.
Do we get an opportunity attack?
I think because I'm moving it probably. not.
No, yeah, you wouldn't,
Yeah.
because it would be against snow, and it would be too much of like you are just hitting snow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll move, like,
Sabriel
I don't know, 20 feet in.
is 20 feet further down the chamber, which is as much as your bright light sees as well, which is quite good on Vincent's sword. You can quite clearly see this creature now. It is a like 5-foot square, like almost like a mimic, I guess, but mimics are more gooey. Peep is on the floor, face down.
Not looking good.
Not looking like anything.
Can I even get into the spot where Peep was at?
Peep wasn't all the way in the tiny hole. You can get up to Peep's bum. So yeah, you can get within touch range of Peep. And probably the tail is sticking right up, so I mean, you can just
Yeah,
smack that with
he's
healing.
just gonna grab him by the tail, cure wounds at level 2.
Ooh.
That
Peep
did
is getting healing.
nothing. Yeah, because he can't let the little cretin die. He.
Crouton.
No, crouton. So that's 10 points of healing on Peep. Sabriel is holding your
gone?
tail.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
get up, like probably, like get out and then look and just see Snow just holding on to this thing. It's like
Sabro. No more sneaking into little alcoves.
fair.
Anything you want to do with your bonus?
Pat. He's gonna move away from Peep and
that's a
go
good idea.
towards Snow.
Vincent, what do you want to do? Snow is fighting this thing.
Vincent is going to get over there by Peep as well. And he is going to kind of try to help Peep up to his feet by casting Lay on Hands on him. And I'll drop 10 points into Peep as well.
Nice.
And about how far is Snow away from me?
20 feet.
He's about 20 feet from me?
Yeah.
I think I can do this. Yeah. So I'll extend a hand out with the shield arm and kind of like feel the energy channeling through his arm, through the shield and into his hand, and he'll produce a shield of faith onto Snow to protect him and provide a +2 AC to Snow.
Yo!
Nice.
Yeah, I'll allow that. I was going to have it just deal passive damage, but now there's like a kind of barrier that's kind of... You can even see it like schlopping against it. When it's like still in like Snow's arm, but can't quite reach like your center of mass, which is clearly what it's trying to do. Grimwald mostly knows AoE spells. Almost exclusively knows AoE spells.
You can just finish helping Peep to his feet. You know?
Yeah, Grimwald will go up to Peep and pick Peep up. And
go.
put Peep on Peep's feet.
Thank you. Okay, I think I'm okay. What is that thing?
Just looking at this thing that's like, you know what? I'm assuming the way it's like trying to wrap around. It's like, you know when a body freaks out in a Bethesda game? Just doing that in his hands.
The Sims 3 Spider Baby.
It's the same Street Spider Baby! It's pick up that can, man. It's Gmod.
Gmod impact sound.
I love that there's the
That
meme.
Spider Baby meets Flubber.
There's the fucking meme of the like baby bird that's flapping around making the Gmod noise.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
Now I'm just imagining that. Grimwald will say, "Is like, it seems like the walls are alive. There's no death in this place." And we'll kind of point. He'll point his chalice because he has the spellbook one hand, chalice in the other. At it, and it glows blood red in the cup. But if he casts any spells, he's fucking killing Snow as well. So.
We've got the fucking darkest dungeon skeleton in the party.
Yeah.
Yes. Peep, it's your turn.
Right.
Snow is 20 feet away and fighting this thing, but now there's a shield of faith against it, so it's definitely resisting more.
Peep is gonna pull out the halfling greatsword.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna run towards Snow, and then just wait for like, I guess it's sort of like hold your hands out and like stretch it out like a bit
Big
of
piece
rope
of
or something,
taffy.
and then yeah, it just goes like down
It's
the middle.
the skin lady from Doctor Who.
Oh my God, Cassandra.
Moisturize me.
Moisturize me.
Actually, back
I
to
didn't
character.
watch
She
Doctor
came back
Who.
again in another
I just
episode. She
looked
possessed David Tennant, and it was great.
I don't watch
yes, that
Doctor
one.
Who, but I just looked it up. What is this?
I don't watch Doctor Who, but my old
That's
roommate made me watch
classic
that
New Hugh
episode.
too. That's a banger. She
Yeah,
straight up
but-
comes back in a later episode and possesses David Tennant, and it's hilarious.
I'm
You
feeling freaked
try and get a hit off on it as Snow's holding it, but it is moving, and it's moving Snow at the same time.
Wait,
So.
wait. Technically, does this count as flanking?
No, what I was thinking about that too, because it also doesn't really count as him grappling it, because they're kind of grappling each other. So let's just say it's neutral, for the ease of futzing around with it. Snow. The way we're actually gonna do this, I'm gonna give you advantage on your deck save because of the Shield of Faith. I know it's not how it works,
Okay.
but it doesn't make actual attack rolls anyway, and it makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, that, yeah.
I'm giving you more value for your money, if anything.
Yeah, I honestly I need the help because my dex is not the greatest.
Oh,
Might
it's a
be on the
DC
edge.
14, mate. Time to roll damage.
It's gotta be around that number. But
It
yeah.
was. I know. I was like, oh, I could have sworn it was 13. Nope. There's another thing that's.
Yeah.
It's going to deal 13 bludgeoning damage, which you half, and then 3 acid damage on top of it as it's starting to try and enzyme your fingers. And that's its turn.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of screeching a little bit now. You're not really sure where it's screeching from. It's kind of all mouth.
And that all that all happens like right at the start of my turn, basically.
Yes.
Or on its. Okay.
Yeah, it basically takes its turn at the start of your turn. So now it's your turn.
Yeah.
And he fucks that up.
Oh, man. Like, could I? Because I don't think there's realistically, like, maybe mechanically I could just, but realistically, I don't think there's any way he's gonna be able to get
Pull
out
the
his
sword
great
out,
sword.
and
Yeah.
not a great sword. I would say you could easily do
Yeah.
that with with a one-handed weapon.
Here's the other thing, though, is like out of character, I have a bad feeling about using a weapon on this thing, but I don't think in character, Snow would know about like, you know, but I don't know. Yeah, you know, okay.
What about that really cool axe you just got?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
haven't dealt any. No one's dealt any damage to this thing yet, so you have no idea.
Yeah, I think he would just like with one hand grab the giant hand axe and just try to hack at it.
Yeah, you can swing. Let's just say neutral for.
Okay.
It's struggling. You're struggling.
Come on.
It's a hit. You're gonna do all of that damage. It doesn't deal the damage back to you, but it also is. It's hearty. It's not tough, but it's leathery. It's got more fight in it.
Yeah.
And also that's partly because it's moving so much. Even just that strike is like, you know, you don't really get like a
Yeah.
really good scratch. So that's your turn. Sabriel.
I have a question. Because it's grappled.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, hold on. Because it's grappled, would inflict wounds.
It doesn't
Get
seem
advantage?
it would. Oh no, it wouldn't get advantage because it's the way that
Okay.
it's like grappling Snow at the same time.
Well,
and you're both
on that
fighting for
note,
it.
will that hurt Snow if I cast
It
inflict
doesn't
wounds?
seem like it would, but at the same time, if you fucking roll a 1, I am beyond, you know, letting that slide. That is absolutely an accidental death touch. So there's risk.
With Sabriel, yeah.
It's like, don't worry, Snow, I'll save you. And Snow just
I
Fucking
might
Thanos
live
is.
through one.
yeah, it
I
doesn't
might
seem like it has
survive.
damage transference.
There's Sabriel is limited in what Sabriel can do at all in regards to this. He is not a spelly spell cleric. He is very much a stabby
You can
cleric.
get up and stab it.
I'm gonna smack it with my sword. I am going to attempt to inflict wounds.
Oh, I'm gonna smack it. Cast inflict wounds. I see.
Oh.
It's a good roll and it's great damage. A whole like layer of like meat off the thing, but it's still. It lets out a and keeps. Now it's moving faster.
Yeah, no, Sabriel uses his sword to inflict wounds. He doesn't use his hands. His
Yeah.
sword just lights up with sunlight, and he's like, "Bap, motherfucker!" And
Yeah.
he backs up.
I was definitely imagining it, yeah, like with the broadside, hit it like with a smack. Yeah, great. Vincent, the thing is still moving. If anything, it's moving more erratically now that it's starting to take damage.
Am I able to get to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's enough
Okay,
room in
I
this
will-
corridor.
I will charge at it with my longsword and kind of try to drive the longsword into the creature while it's still being splayed out.
Yeah!
Um,
Oh no!
oof. Big
It's a
oof.
miss.
Not in that one, but ooh, was it close? It's gotta hold it still. It's wriggling too much.
That's right! Hold still! And Grimal's chalice is gonna
Oh,
glow
no.
with fire.
Oh no.
He's gonna
We're
hit.
all
Oh, no.
gonna
He's
die.
gonna hit a firebolt at the thing, not Snow. He's gonna hit. Who's he gonna hit? He's gonna hit the creature. He's gonna deal max damage too. I mean, don't judge a skeleton by their boner. You know. Peep.
That is
All
my new
right.
saying.
Now, Do I get pack tactics for everyone being here?
I
wailing on this
will
thing?
totally allow pap tactics.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Halfling greatsword, go!
It's a hit. It's damage. It
29.
now seems
Cool.
significantly
Damage,
frayed.
but-
And you can re-roll. Oh no, already did it. Never mind. You're good.
Yeah, it's already. Yeah, I've already got it set.
Yeah, the creature is now significantly frayed, still struggling, still fighting. It's going to deal some damage to Snow. Well, give me a dex save with advantage on your turn.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
maybe you'll
Yep.
pass this time. Who knows?
Yeah. With my 0 modifier. At least I got advantage.
Hey!
Oh no.
Not very dexterous.
If it makes you feel better, one of those dice landed on the floor and rolled a 1, and I'm keeping it. So
Yeah.
there's going to be 10 bludgeoning damage plus
Okay.
3 acid damage.
Okay. I'm visibly wounded, but he's not like I'm not at death's door. Just
What do you want to do?
luckily, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, luckily with the raging, I'm still doing okay. Although the acid damage I take. I will. Snow's gonna, I guess, just try to. I don't know. Here's the thing. I doubt he can like kill it with the hand axe. I doubt it's that close to death. So is there a way that I could like that Snow could like instead of attacking at it, could he use his turn to like hold it?
Hold it really steady so the rest get advantage? Yeah. I'll allow it.
Yeah, maybe like I don't know. Would I have to take some damage in return, or would I just take?
It's
my
just you're not
action?
dealing damage. Yeah, you're using
Okay.
your action.
All right, yeah, that'll be.
You can try and
That'll
hold
be what he
it
does.
for these guys.
Yeah.
Sabriel, you're up next.
I'm not gonna waste all my spell slots right now.
Why? Why not? Why? There's a monster. It's in your friend. It killed Peep. Why?
Yeah, well, I gotta heal the friend afterward. Is the problem. He's
You're
gonna
on healer
smack it with
duty.
his longsword. Yeah, he is. He's gonna smack it hopefully with his longsword.
It's a hit.
Maybe
It deals
come
some
off.
damage, but then it also deals radiant damage on top of that. So
Yes,
it's not.
four.
It's quite a lot of damage altogether. Yep. Cool. And then it's Vincent. Still squirming and screeching.
Swinging the longsword at it again. That was a nat 1.
Oh, that's going to Snow. Oh, you have advantage, guys. You have
Oh, yeah,
advantage.
yeah.
Reroll before you get that
Advantage?
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Actually, yeah, Sabriel should add it too.
Yeah,
That's
we've already done that one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait, why would we have
8
advantage?
damage. Snow used his turn to like hold it and himself steady. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that you know, you have the thought before you stab. Is like, I really don't want to hit Snow with this, and then it can pierce into the creature and then back out, and it leaves a hole, and it's still alive, and it's disgusting.
In an alternate timeline, he would have stabbed Snow there.
In the present timeline, Grim is going to shoot Snow in the face by accident. It's a natural 20!
Let's go.
Bone zone! Alright, that's going to be... You're holding it steady. Vincent stabs through the creature and pulls out, and Peep's like probably getting ready to swing, and then just a fire, and it just kind of starts burning into ash. And it, like, that makes its adhesive qualities fail, and it just kind of sloughs off your hands as Grimwald just kind of launched a particularly powerful fireball at it. There's like smoke coming. It's like, excuse me. Afterwards, and
Ha! How to win the day.
Grimwald's doing it Sabriel style. He's like, let's just turn it to dust at the end of the fight. Let's.
it's not quite all dust. It's now like the quality of melted plastic in 2 halves on the ground. Still kind of moving. It's like trying to crawl, and then it stops.
Snow would just be like some of it was on his hands probably, and he'd just be like looking up like, eh. But then he'd look up to Grimwald and give him like a nod of thanks. Well, and to everyone, I guess.
Grimwald, good kill. There is a history of wizard NPCs getting the final blow in Jarviskjir. And I think with that messy encounter, and the rest of this secret giant dungeon that you uncovered, we can revisit next week and do some dungeoneering, which is real fun. This is a little bit of time for you to talk about yourselves. I'm going to stop playing dramatic tundra ambience now and maybe play something a little more gentle. And we can start, as ever, with Zach. Who are you? What you got going on at the moment?
So I'm Zach. I'm over at Next Level TTRPG or at Next TTRPG on Twitter. I do a lot of different gaming. I play D&D, DM. We're getting ready to start up a new campaign at the beginning of the year on Twitch, which will be my first one ever. So I'm super excited about that. That's it.
Poetry.
Okay. I'm at twitch.tv/poetrysudgaming, and the only thing I have going on different than normal is that tonight, in about 3 hours, I'm doing a Sudoku race with a streamer buddy of mine, and we're going to race solving some Sudokus for bragging rights. So, yeah.
That sounds horrible. That wells my anxiety in the back of my brain, just imagining being in a Sudoku, right?
I made like a 4-minute long video with the lore of it that's dramatic. I use like music and like it's a hype up like video.
That's great.
Yeah. And that's it for me though. Other than that, I just stream a lot of random games.
Cool. On the topic of lol randoms, Quill.
Hi, yes, I'm Voice Quills. You can find me at Voice Quills on YouTube and Voice Quills on Twitter. I just post posts on YouTube, and in my spare time, I also happen to back Schism in relation to both and per. So if you can go and do that, that'd be great.
What he said. What they said.
Do it.
Yeah, you have 2 weeks to do it, and if you don't, this will be one of the only copies that exist, which might be valuable, but I would like the game out there instead. So, Ori.
Hi. I'm Ori. Back Schism immolation of open for now so that I can have it, because I want more minis that are gonna get painted.
Yeah, and there may be
in my stuff.
If Schism goes further, there may be some extra minis that I know Ori's very excited about in the future of Schism.
I am. So if you guys
we need this
want
first
those
one to go out first.
But yeah, I have commissions open, and it's my job, and I have bills to pay, and I still haven't fixed my flat tire.
Oh
so
no!
If y'all want to commission me, that'd be great. Yeah, it's got a temporary fix at the moment that's not gonna last much longer because it's getting really cold. So, yeah, commission me. I'll draw your D&D characters. Commission me. I'll draw Sabrail if you pay me to do it.
Draw Grimwald.
Yeah.
Pay Ori to draw Grimwald.
Yeah, if you guys want Grimwald art, pay me.
Cool.
He's got a mask on. I don't have to draw a skeleton face.
Oh, they're gonna want the skeleton face. My thing is this thing. As I mentioned, there are 2 weeks left to back it. If you're watching this live, if you're watching it on YouTube a couple of weeks later, we'll see. It's quite a ways to go. A lot of people out here have done amazing support and sharing the word. If you have people that are like interested in D&D and board games and miniatures, definitely show them this. Like I've said before, just backing like $10 is a great way to do it. But you can also get the starter set as well. It is for the quality and solidness. It's incredibly cheap for what it actually is. I've been manhandling this thing every dang stream for like a month, and it's perfectly fine. You don't get a lot of miniatures games or war games that you can keep in the box and the box doesn't disintegrate. And that was one of the things we wanted to do. A lot of you have already pledged, and I appreciate that. And we just got to go a little bit further. If you're holding out and you're sleeping and going, oh, I'll pledge later, pledge now! What are you doing? Don't be crazy. We also have another show on Wednesdays. That has just started chapter 3. We also have a show on Patreon that is going to be starting this Monday, and another one that is on Tuesdays. Those are for $5 or more a month. That's how you keep this show running. That's how I keep the light on. There's only really one, because I think bats or wasps chewed the wires above my room, and they don't work anymore up there, the lights. So, I'll see you in the other chill streams we've got going on. There might be art, there might be other stuff. We will see. But also there's a lot of work on Schism right now. I'm going to probably play the Schism trailer as we leave because it's there. And we're going to real quickly thank the patrons as well. We'll see you next week for some dungeon diving. See you then.
Hell yeah.